session competitors in this round. We will have the same conditions as the round number 2 of the women, which means we will have a 30-minute hit, no maximum of waves, counting the top 2 and the pedal out 5 minutes. As condições de prova mantêm-se. Vasco e Jadson, vamos ter baterias de 30 minutos, sem máximo de ondas, contam as duas melhores. O pedal out mantém-se nos 5 minutos. Já sabem, acertem os vossos relógios a 30 minutos. Atenção, free surfers, por favor, vão abandonando a área de prova. Dentro de 15 minutos vai tocar a buzina para iniciarmos a primeira bateria desta ronda 2 da competição masculina. A ronda de repescagem, são 4 baterias man on man, com a presença de vários surfistas nacionais. Na primeira bateria vamos ter já o Vasco Ribeiro, mas vamos ter ainda também o Neco Pirré na segunda bateria, vai enfrentar o italiano Leonardo Fioravanti. Vamos ter ainda uma bateria também com 4 portugueses, aliás, com 2 portugueses. Recordo que estamos numa fase já de baterias man on man, com apenas 2 surfistas. Já não vamos ter baterias com 4 surfistas, sendo que neste campeonato o máximo que tivemos até foram baterias com apenas 3. Menos de 15 minutos já para darmos início, mas falava então dos duelos destas 4 baterias desta ronda. A primeira, como eu já tinha dito, o Jadson André e o português Vasco Ribeiro. Depois vamos ter o colega desta prova, o Neco Pirré, vai enfrentar o Leo Fioravanti. Depois na bateria 3 teremos um duelo entre o Japão e a França com o Kano Igarashi e o Gatiano Delahaye. E depois terminaremos então na última bateria do dia com um duelo entre 2 surfistas nacionais, curiosamente também a lutar pelo título nacional. Falo do mais experiente vencedor do QS em 2019, Frederico Moraes, e o atual líder do ranking nacional de apenas 17 anos, o Afonso Antunes. Muito bom surf para ver aqui nas próximas 2 horas. Free surfers, por favor, está na hora de terem de sair da água. Podem continuar o vosso free surf um pouco mais para norte, ali na pontinha, mas na área de competição, na área de prova, não podem estar agora. Por isso, por favor, free surfers, rapidamente vamos abandonar a área de prova. Please, free surfers, we need to clean the competition area. 12 minutes to start the competition, so please, free surfers, paddle north. You may free surf in Pontinha, not here on the competition area. Here it's not possible. So please be conscious. Thank you. 10 minutes to start, now 10 minutes. Dar início a esta primeira bateria da ronda 2, daqui a exatamente 10 minutos. Temos compromissos publicitários com o broadcast e teremos que começar mesmo na hora marcada. Não podemos vacilar. Veio também o sol, o que não é nada mal. Vamos aqui a aquecer os motores o português Vasco Ribeiro. Este é um sítio que o Vasco se sente muito bem, já alcançou aqui um título mundial de júniores. Vasco Ribeiro, na altura superiorizante a um pouco conhecido ainda na altura jovem brasileiro. Estou a falar do Ítalo Ferreira, é o atual campeão mundial, mas em 2014 quem levou a taça de campeão mundial júnior aqui nesta mesma praia foi o português Vasco Ribeiro. Free surfers, por favor, vamos abandonando a área de prova. Peço a colaboração ali também da nossa Water Patrol para ajudar a limpar a área de prova. encontrem o vosso melhor lugar, mas já sabem, cumpram as diretrizes da Direção-Geral de Saúde, por favor. Não estejam muito juntos, evitem aglomerados de pessoas. E se puderem, por favor, usem a máscara. Vamos tentar não arriscar. E assim poderemos o mais rapidamente possível retornar à nossa vida normal. Sendo que também já percebemos que o novo normal é um pouco diferente daquilo que estávamos habituados, mas free surfers, por favor, vamos abandonando a área de prova, queremos dar início e vamos dar início em breve. Free surfers, por favor, remem um pouco mais para norte, dirijam-se ali para a pontinha. Free surfers, please clean the competition area. Free surfers, please. Please, free surfer, pedal in. Thank you. Surfistas desta primeira bateria, mantenham as vossas posições. Não façam ondas agora. Assim que possível, daremos o início.
Countdown series welcomes you to the European mainland, where hostilities in the MEO Portugal Cup of Surfing are about to resume. We've been on hold, we've been letting the tide roll out today, hoping for more favourable conditions to send our men out for the elimination rounds. Joining me, Paul Evans, in the studio for the call is Surf Scribe and raconteur Ben Mundy. How are we feeling, Ben?
Yeah, very good now. We're back on live action. We had to sit out a bit of a dull time, as you said, as the tide just bottomed out. But yeah, there's waves coming through, and we've got 4 heats, stacked heats of CT caliber action. So I'm actually pretty excited, Paul.
Let's cast our mind back to yesterday. We're here for an elimination round because something in the form of upsets happened several times yesterday, and a lot of our CT stars weren't able to perform. That's why we're going to see them this afternoon. Let's have a look back at yesterday's tape and see how it all went down.
Yeah, hashtag CT bloodbath, hasn't it? It's been on. Judson's going left. That was Joseph Andre. Massive air. None on the right. This man, speaking of going right, Ramsey Bucame. I think this could have been the EDP wave of the day. So he was absolutely on fire. The local, Enric Pirate, we'll see him later on, and you might know that man, Paul Evans.
There's your Jeep leader, Italo Ferreira, your world champ, looked in great form yesterday. He was kind of on his own as one of the surfers that wasn't upset in terms of the form book. He looked very good value for a slot in the quarterfinals. This man struggled though. Yeah,
Frederic Moraes, the local hope, surfed the last heat of the day yesterday. And it was in a good spot, but then this happened. Aritz Aranburu, the Basque legend, riding on a twin fin. And it was very close. There was a couple of over point in it. And Freddie just got done at the death. And he wasn't happy about it either. So he'll be up again this afternoon in the last head of the day again. And he's all fired up. Don't worry about that.
So slightly bigger conditions yesterday allowed us to go all the way through the tide here at Ribeira Dilias. Of course, we do have that mobile format that we've decided our venue here at Rabilla is, of course, the most consistent wave on this part of the coast. Let's get straight into live action. We're bringing the first matchup to elimination stage. We're going to be losing one of our 2 athletes out in the water of the championship tour. In red will be the Goofy, the veteran of Jadson Andre. Just flew in from Brazil a couple of days ago. Passed all the necessary health checks and requirements. Able to take his jersey and take his place in the MEO Portugal Cup of Surfing. He's taken on a local coming with the hopes and dreams of a Portuguese nation, flying the flag for Europe as well. It's Vasco Ribeiro, and this is a scintillating matchup, Monday.
Yeah, really good, amazing sort of 2 surfers, Jadson Andre. the Brazilian CT veteran, Vasco Ribeiro, the former world junior champion and one of Portuguese's finest surfers. Has been really, really close to getting on the CT for many years. He's right at that real pointy end of the QS series. And he knows this wave obviously inside out. And but Jaddy, he's been really focused recently, so it's going to be tight.
If you're thinking in terms of styles and techniques, Vasco Ribeiro is surfing almost designed for this very wave. And we're probably expecting him to come with more meat and potatoes kind of surfing, whereas I think Jadson with that little bit maybe more flair. I mean, we saw him going left yesterday, a couple of massive air reverses. What's he going to do out here? What's he got?
Well, he's got it all. I mean, Jadson, he likes to keep busy. We had him in yesterday in the booth. He had a half hour. It was actually really fascinating insight into the way he operates. He was such a nice guy. I mean, he's famous for his just being all around sort of legendary, so many friends. But he was saying that he likes to stay busy. That's the way he operates. He likes to get lots of waves. He likes little punchy little sections and wedgy sort of meaty waves. And this probably isn't that sort of a wave. So he might be up against it a little bit. Vasco, on the other hand, you're right. He's got really good down the line speed, hasn't he? Transitions in between flat spells and flat sections really, really well. And he's also got an air game on him. So, it's a great contrast in styles. Not just because one's natural, one's goofy, but they're very different approaches to the waves. And we'll see which comes out on top.
A little bit of texture on the water surface here. Sunshine poking through after a bit of a cloud layer covered things earlier in the afternoon. It is Wednesday afternoon, 5:30 local time. Half an hour of clock time for our athletes. Two best waves, of course. And the highest score will earn a slot in the quarterfinals. So we will be losing 4 surfers this afternoon. Got these 4 heats to bring you. And they are matching up to provide some good-looking clashes with some of that CT talent. You think about the next one coming up as well. Just kind of looking forward there. Leo Fioravanti of the CD coming against Enrique Pirate, the local from this very wave. And that's going to be fascinating to see how that goes down.
Yeah, exactly. Leo coming off a very good week in the French Rendezvous surfing last week. And, a bit of a shock sort of loss in his first round, sort of 3-man heat. But, an Enrique Pirate, it would be one of the great sort of upsets. Here he is there. He's a tall, lanky guy. Probably not a lot of the whole people know about his surfing, but he knows his wave inside out. He's got a big backhand hook, and he's got all these people on the beach sort of, hoping he does well.
So smaller this morning, a little bit of swell filled in, a little bit longer period tip. What are we talking in terms of swell size? What are we looking at here, Ben?
Well, I would say in the old school, it's probably 2 to 3 foot. And I'll tell you what, as you said, we originally had a call at 4 o'clock. We came down. It was a bit grey. It was a bit dull. You could see the lines. They weren't breaking on the reef, and we're like, this doesn't look good for a start this afternoon. But our contest director Miguel Forch, he said, look, there's going to be waves. And then, sure enough, tide went out. The sun's come out. So we're looking at 2 to 3 footers running down a 150, 200 metre sort of stretch of reef. Jadson just went out for a quick little free surf, and he got a couple in quick succession. So, I think we're going to have some good waves. And as the tide sort of just slowly withdraws, probably get a bit more consistent, hopefully.
Looking forward to tomorrow. Jump in swell as well. Best day of our waiting period for finals day for the MEO Cup of Surfing.
Yeah, it's all been about tomorrow. They sort of flagged that a couple of days ago. Rise and swell up to the 4 to 6 foot range. Double or triple this. The winds are light, and this place sort of sucks in all the wind and can often sort of turn it a little bit to the right direction. And so it's looking really good tomorrow. We're going to have, hopefully, if we get through these 4 without any problems, quarterfinals, semi-finals, and finals. And we're going to have some 2 winners and potentially the Euro Cup of Surfing champions.
Little wave shaping up here. We talk about Jadson likes to get busy, and you see him backlit in that Portuguese evening light as he is up and surfing on this one. Little high line shroud down off the top, and he'll belt it again with a little bit more impetus. Looking to carry this one over through to a slightly kind of folded inside section. There's some nice verticality. We'll go straight to his bottom turn, kind of lean back with a little check setup. Now it gets steep on him, and he goes beyond vertical. There's his traction in there. So an opener up for Jadson Andre. Of course, we know a lot about him, a decade or so on the championship tour. And in Europe, we know quite a lot about Vasco Ribeiro, but possibly for those further afield, might not know him quite as well. Judson, the veteran, what do you make of this kind of fat opening wave?
Yeah, it is a difficult wave to read, but he read it so well. He's just real. I like how he's really calm. Not a lot of wobbles between turns. Does some nice clean turns, and he'll be really disappointed with his ending. Yesterday we talked when he was in the booth about how he often over eggs that last turn. He says it's part of my surfing I've been trying to work on. So my eyes light up, and I always, I've been guilty of pushing it too hard. And he did it. He flagged it yesterday, but he's yet again it's happened to him. So apart from that sort of mistake, he surfed it well, smooth.
As we're saying, for those people maybe don't know so much about Vasco Ribeiro, we do have a little package, and we're going to find out a little bit more about him. Vasco Ribeiro, former world junior champ, Portuguese power surfer.
It's really good to be back in the water and be back, competing, especially for us that are used to travel all around the world competing. This new series in Europe, I think it's going to be great, and I think it's really nice to have a mobile event where we can really choose the place. Like we can drive 30 minutes and we can surf a point break, and 10 minutes and a beach break. So it's really good to be home and enjoy Iri setup and Ish, all these waves that normally we can't surf because we don't have the time to. So, I love Portugal and the waves, and it's really nice.
He does, yeah, and as well as he should. He's living in one of the sort of richest wave havens on the planet, and the surfer from down there in Cascais, he alluded to the fact that it is mobile, this event, but just the way it's turned out, the forecast has meant these north winds and the swell direction and the size means that this famous surf destination's been our go-to all week, and it will be tomorrow. So we've got our spot, we've locked it in as Vasco has a go.
Up and riding, Vasco Ribeiro waiting patiently for this wave, and he'll shroud a couple of setup turns outside and let this one stand up. You just see him standing on the tail a bit, waiting for the wave to get steep. And go through a nice little rail jam, kind of two-stage to that. Little snap in the lip, still swinging down in here. We'll definitely be looking for a finish down on the inside. Just set up again, using that rail. And no real lip on offer, so just gets a little bit incision into the wave face. Of course, nothing like our regular crowds. That's his mother there watching on, along with his coach. Nothing like the usual crowds that we get. Obviously, with current health conditions, everyone distancing. But nevertheless, a chance for online fans in Portugal. Let's have a look at the replay.
Yeah, I like this wave. It was just a nice pace to it. He didn't get too sort of caught up in trying to force the issue. He was smooth when it mattered, hit the lip when he could. There's not a lot of pushing it, but he's such a strong surfer, such a low sort of centre of gravity, real powerful legs, and he just drove through all those flat sections and timed it well. And, in terms of just starting off the heat with a wave that, is solid and could be a counter, I was impressed.
Yeah, could be an improvement on Jadson's opening effort. That was just a 3.67 for Jadson. Slightly more commitment in those manoeuvres and a finish as well for Vasco Ribeiro out of Portugal. Comes up around about half a point to the better. 4.17 for Ribeiro. Nothing to get overly excited about. But does have the centre lead at the moment. Of course, just one wave ridden, so no real situations to bring you. 21.40 on the clock, half-hour heats. Up for grabs, a spot in the quarterfinals. Which of these two is going to be able to advance? We mentioned yesterday one of the CT talent couldn't get it their own way in the three-man heats. That's why they're back here today. One of them out in the water right now. Jadson Unday secured his spot for what would have been the 2020 tour really early in 2019. He pretty much got his qualification done by May of that year. He's had to wait a long time, and he's waited a little while for a wave here, and he's found one. Up and riding, spanks it vertical. Nice little tail tap in that as well. And look at the spark here from Jadson. A flatter wave in here. It's all about managing these transitions, trying to keep the speed going as he casts a beady eye down the line on a section that he thinks he likes the look of. Sets up for it. Here he goes. Inside swooping and slicing. And that might be it for him. No real finishing end section at the moment. But good stuff from Jadson. I think maybe that second turn probably the pick of them, Ben.
Yeah, that one he spanked, as you so rightly put it. He's looking smooth. That wave just didn't quite cooperate on the inside. He was working really hard, waiting for a steep face and couldn't quite get there. But yeah, you're right. He waited. His looks on point though. I'm really happy with that. Turn was vertical. That's classic Jadson. He busted the tail out. Got a nice little second turn in. So good spray, good technique. He's been surfing the last 4 to 5 months at home with Italo. Those two come from the same, about half an hour drive away from each other. And Jadson's been surfing with the world champ, and he's just said he's been learning. Basically, he said Italo's just so committed to becoming a better surfer, and it's almost a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week kind of program that Italo's on to get better. And Jadson's just been hanging in his jet stream. Went to the Maldives with him and did a free surfing trip. Been hitting all those right-hand points up near where they live in Baja in Brazil, and yeah, so immediately there's a bit of spark in his surfing, and for a guy that's been around for 11 years on the tour, it's so great to see, that energy and that enthusiasm and that spark to get better. So and he got a 5-point ride for that one. So impressive surfing from Jadson.
Evergreen Jadson Andre, always bringing the youthful exuberance. His surfing looks nice and precise out here in Ribeira Dilias this afternoon. A flat 5 for his second ride. Gives him a 2-wave total. We'll just wait, obviously, until Vasco gets the second score before we really start thinking about situations. Plenty of time left on the clock, 90 minutes. This half an hour heat's just obviously affording on surfers a bit more time, and I think it's fair to say in Europe what we've come to expect within that half hour time frame, we can actually expect the surf to look different. The tide's going to go out that much, Ben.
Yeah, they move quick here. I think there's like a 2-meter variation in the tides, so it really changes so fast.
As we check out the event site, of course, Jeep brand, sponsor partner, the World Surf League, help making this event happen. Of course, our title sponsor, MEO Tourism Portugal, ADP, Red Bull, huge support from them. We wouldn't be here without our sponsors, so big thanks to them, as well as all the people helping putting this one together. And of course our surfers, one of them's right there. His name's Enrique Neco Pirates. He hails from this very surf spot. His dad always out here as well. Pretty much hangs at the beach here all day. He's kind of an all day at the beach kind of guy, kind of family.
They really are. They just live and breathe.
Surfs about 5 to 7 times a day.
Yeah, I reckon they clock up 9 hours per sort of day. Yeah, times that by 6. And really committed to this wave and this area and this community. It's sort of fundamental to the surf community, really, the Pirates, and it's great to see Enrique getting his chance.
Kind of a quiet guy, a little bit understated. I tell you what, if he gets a start in his heat against Leo, it's going to be really interesting to see how that one plays out. That's coming up next, of course. That'll be heat number 2 of our elimination round. Just there's 4 heats to bring you this afternoon as we see Miguel Blanco, one of the outstanding Portuguese surfers. That's Nick Uricio, the shaper of cement surfers on the right. Zé Seabra, the coach behind him. That's Goni Zubizarreta on the left there. So everyone down to watch and support the Portugueses and the Europeans. And obviously just take in some classic Ribeira Dilias. We talked about that mobile format. We have had the opportunity to go all the way up and down the coast, Ben, but you know what surfing can be like. We're back at the kind of old familiar.
Yeah, you look around and go back to where you first surfed. Yeah, it's so consistent, this wave. It handles most of the tides. I mean, to a degree, that's never a possibility in all the breaks, but it handles most of the tides. Handles the wind really well, especially from this northerly direction, which we've had all week. And it's a natural, I hate to use that overuse from the natural amphitheatre, but it really is. And I mean, this place would be busy. The people come down just to surf here every day. There's bars and restaurants, and the guidelines are in place. And it's just a great place to surfing, and it's just a bit of a spiritual home of competitive surfing in Portugal.
All right, little readjust from Jadson. He might look a little inside number here, and he looks like he's fading left onto a right, and eventually he is up and riding. Just have a look at that wave and say, you know what, nothing really doing on that. He'll kick out meanwhile. A picture of calm in the lineup. Vasco Ribeira, at least externally to us. Just seems to be pretty decided upon that more patient approach, which we've come to expect. A little bit more speculative from Andre. Does like to stay busy, does Jadson. Like you said, we had him in the booth yesterday and he was explaining it was Italo that told him maybe don't try and hit it so hard on that last manoeuvre.
Yeah.
It's all right for you to say, mate.
Yeah. Yep. He didn't listen to Coach Italo, did he, though? The first turn he had, he absolutely blew the back out of it and fell off. But, yeah, not a bad guy to listen to advice to right now.
Just tentative sparring in the opening in this one. No real quality to bring you. Just a 5 for Jadson Andre. He's in the lead at the moment. We're going to be back with more live action. Going to go to a quick commercial break. It's Jadson Andre versus Vasco Ribeira. More of it after this.
The Euro Cup introduces the MEO Portugal Cup of Surfing, presented by MEO, the official partner of the World Surf League; Tourism of Portugal, the official strategic partner of the World Surf League; Jeep, official vehicle of the World Surf League; and ADP, official partner of the World Surf League.
Welcome back to Afternoon Sunshine at the MEO Portugal Cup of Surfing out in the water at the moment. That man carrying the hopes of the Portuguese nation in this heat, taking on the veteran out of the CT. That's got caught up a concerted paddle effort during the break, trying to come from behind a foamy section. There's that rip off the top. And he can get so much power from one rail to the other. There's quick transitions, Vasco Ribeiro. A little bit of a woolly section in here. He'll just set up through the inside. Nice little swoop off the top from him. Not put too much into that as he tries to keep that speed going down the line. And a little steep bowl on the inside. Tags it really nicely done. Good rhythm to that. Allowing to take on the lip. So that wave started off a little wonky, but Ben getting it done on the ends.
Yeah, well surf wave, as we see more action too.
Jadson, Andre, just kind of fading down from a highline, a little bit caught on the bottom. There is some wobble still with this higher tide, some deep water on the reef, and just kind of swinging around here. Hoping this one will stand up for him, and he'll bring it all the way through on his own. You get a little snap pretty much underneath or in the lip. Then nice and vertical again. That's a better turn. A good combination. And there's another little hack down in the pocket. There's a good hit from Jadson. He's built up a head of steam on this wave. This is going to be interesting to see how this goes score-wise, Ben. Both of those waves started off wobbly but finished with a little more polish.
Yeah, they were both like wind-up toys, weren't they? The more they went on. So yeah, at the back here, Jadson got a few turns. I was like, well, this wave, there's nothing on Vasco's at this stage. He was getting caught. I mean, he was still generating a lot of power despite the bump and the bubble. And even here, he was doing cutbacks, and you didn't like much was going to happen from this. And then all of a sudden, it hits this little inside bowl. He starts to get some speed. There's the first one. Slides the tail out. Now he's racing through the section. Cracks the next one. Loads of spray. That backhand is his weapon. One more little cutback, and then here to finish off is another crack. So that is 4 sort of really solid turns on the inside. All the money on the inside. And really great surfing from Jadson. That's the Jadson we love. And that's what I've missed when this CT business hasn't been on. That type of surfing, Paul.
In the words of Cobra Kai, show the enemy no mercy. Good stuff from Jadson Andre. Beautiful replay as we see him building up a head of steam. One of his strengths is just connecting those inside sections. And he gets speed and uses that precision to just light this thing up. A number drop for Vasco Ribeira's wave. 6.5 previous to this for Vasco. And just thinking about that score and just looking at that replay again, and it just gets better each time you look at it. You've got to be thinking it's probably going to be the best score so far of the heat, and it's going to put him back in the leads. Vasco Ribeiro temporarily took it over. It comes in as a flat 7, joins his 5. 12 points his total. And that's the measure of his lead at the moment over Vasco Ribeiro at the moment. 10-6-7 for the Portuguese surfer. 5-5-1 the requirement for Vasco. Does have priority. But you've got to say, Jadson, he never really looks on his board. He never really looks like getting malpositioned either on the wave or on the board itself. So he's about to generate speed from anywhere. And sometimes these fat sections, he can look a little bit, oh, he's going to get caught behind. This one's going to fade away, and he's so good at connecting. Meanwhile, spinning and having a look with some purpose at this. He's Vasco Ribeiro out of Cascais, Portugal. Quick in and out for him. Doesn't like the look of it. 10-15 remaining in this first elimination round heat. And at the moment, Jadson Andre with a bit of an advantage. But the scores are pretty evenly matched. And you're thinking next score from Vasco. And he needs a 5-5-1. He's certainly going to be aiming much higher than that. And this is setting up to be a nice heat as we go under the 10-minute mark.
Yeah, it really is, Paul. You're right. And you know, yesterday I thought Vasco Ribeiro, I think the sort of weirdly the situation got to him a little bit. He was up against Italo, and I think he was just pushing a bit hard. And I think now he's just scaled it back, and he's just ready to be a bit smooth and play to his strengths. He's got a good-looking wave here.
Chip in for the Portuguese. Nice sting on his first re-entry. Then he'll fade that one back, put himself behind the pocket. A little jam over the lip and back down. Then he'll go on attack with the rail. One of the big throwers of spray from Europe or anywhere, Vasco Ribeiro. With a low line pump, he'll attack that end section. He did really well to land that last maneuver as well, and he likes it. Little finger flick to finish off with. Meanwhile, staying super busy, Jadson, and he'll whip one. Look at the speed he generates through his turn. Just accelerating. That's beautifully done. Puts a big hanger up, and it's smooth as well from Jadson, and he likes it. I tell you, these two will get fired up as their scores go up, and I love the way this tussle is shaping up. Bit of a ding-dong. Already looks like a bit of a classic to open up with.
It really is. The surf is turning on. Those waves are just hitting that inside bowl really, really nice. And these two, they are not scared of a claim, I'll tell you that. They're passionate, they're enthusiastic, and this is the wave at the back, so we go a little bit hung up. Again, he just puts the back foot down to wait for this section to steepen up, and then he does that release. See the green wall there begging for it, and that time he released the fins. I thought he may have lost it there for a little bit. Hung on. He likes it, the whole wetsuit adjustment with roar of approval. But Vashko's wave had more, I think, so just straight into it. As I said, he looks smooth. He looks like he's not pushing it too hard, but letting his rails do the work. A nice little check turn. Now he builds up some speed, and there's a nice carve. A redirection, and he just looks, he's clicking into gear. He's going through all his sort of good bag of tricks, and the spray gets caught, and then he starts to play to the crowd as well. So yeah, really good surfing, the two of them, and it's yeah, there's a cigarette paper between them. They're both hammering away and getting sort of, you know, really equal scores, and you bet with 7 minutes to go, Paul, it's gonna go to the wire. You can just tell. That
carving lip line snap from Vasco Ribeiro, bit of a trademark move, fits so well into this closing section at Ribeira Dilius. Let's have a look at Enrique Pirates coming up in the next heat. No real pressure on him. Came in as a late replacement surfer to the MEO Portugal Cup of Surf, and he's taken on a CT start in the form of Fioravanti. He's got a few QS heats under his belt, but not really under any kind of pressure whatsoever. Let's see if he can do some damage and cause something of an upset against a major championship tour talent. 7 to go in this one. Judges with their work cut out with a couple of scores, but we got a really good number coming for Vasco Ribeiro. Think of the variety as well. He showed a load of power, kept his speed up throughout those maneuvers, and a good score coming his way. Judges are just making sure they nail that one before it locks in. Getting down to the stage of the heat where hopefully there'll be plenty of waves left to come in the final few minutes. Feels like Ben at the moment, just the way this long period swell's filled in, it's sort of soft and a bit soggy at the top of the point, and that only adds to the sense of anticipation and the surfers build up ahead of steam and just unload on the inside.
Yeah, exactly right. It's also the same the way just like the way the waves are sort of unfolding. The heat is too. Each surfer has sort of started off with strong. You know, look at Jadson, a 3.6, a 5, and then a 7. So just building. Vasco, a 4, then a 6.5, then an 8.07. So just like the waves, it's starting off a bit slower, but just gathering speed and momentum. And now we're in for a real sort of ding-dong battle with 6 minutes to go.
Excellent number in for Vasco Ribeiro, 8.07 for him. He's gone into the excellent range. Jadson's score drops 6.87. You'd have to say pretty much spot on from the judges. They've nailed that exchange. Vasco Ribeiro certainly getting the better of it, but Jadson, a couple of big turns, kind of salvaged his wave with his surfing right on the end of it. And we've got a new leader now. Ribeiro has gone into first place. He's also got first priority. 5:40 remaining on the clock. The requirement for Jadson Andre, 7.58. That's what he needs to move back into first place. Vasco with that prior, which could become more of a significant factor in the final few minutes of this one. As that Portuguese sunshine, that sun will dip probably around about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours away from sunset here. Famous for its sunsets, of course, on the western facing shores overlooking the Atlantic. Portugal, an epic destination for a surf chip, great venue for an event. Let's look at Leo Fioravanti of the Championship Tour, originally from Rome, Italy, been based up in southwest France for a number of years. Going through his warm-up, he had a pretty thorough session there with Dog Marsh, just taking some information on board.
Yeah, saw that. Saw Richard just sort of that little notebook, that secret little pad of his, and that sort of quite red sort of bugle there. So it looked like they'd been surfing during the day or something. He was fired up, but Yeah, great combination, good pair, and that's a paddle, couldn't quite get it. Yeah, Leo and Rich have been working together for a while now, really solid partnership and enjoying each other's company, and the improvement's been great. And I think Leo is, I mean, just, it's underestimated just how hard he's had to work for his career from Italy. Grew up in pretty substandard waves. I mean, there is a vibrant surf community, but no history of anyone having any real success at any level, and he's just come out. And he's such a proud Italian. And if it wasn't for some of his injuries as well, he broke his back. Obviously, not obviously, but he broke his back 2 years ago, and he's come back from that really strong. So, and he's only really young. You forget how young Leo is. So 21, 22. So, yeah, what a star of the sport. And he's just spread the word of surfing so far and wide. And, yeah, he's a great asset for European surfing. Well,
he'll be coming up next in heat number 2 of our elimination round. But at the moment, it's a hotly contested first heat to decide a quarter-finalist out of this round. And Vasco Ribeiro with that lead at the moment. And that 8.07 as we just wait out a period of a kind of a lack of activity out in the water. That number just looms larger and larger on the scoreboard, doesn't it? That requirement for Jadson Andre, 7.58, so he needs to go about half a point north of the best of what he's been able to get done so far. He'll need an improvement. Doesn't have priority either. Let's remind ourselves how this one's gone down. Check out the heat recap. And we waited quite a bit of the afternoon for the tide to go out. When it did, we weren't disappointed. Waves started coming in. Vasco Ribeiro came out swinging.
Yeah, it really did. A total change of sort of plan from yesterday. He sort of just toned it down, looking really smooth. That forehand carve is his bread and butter. And he's just found the really good waves. Each wave he's got has gotten better and better. He hasn't made a single mistake. His wave selection's been impeccable. His surfing's been great. But I tell you what, hasn't had his own wave. Jadson Andre has been on fire with those type of turns. Hard on your wave, this backhand. Hard to stay vertical. But this is a man that can just generate so much power out of any section, and this is my favourite wave. This bit down here on the line was great. Smacks it high. He's got some toe release on him, and then another, and you can just see him starting to really come to life. He's back in a singlet. He's back in Portugal, where he's had so much success over the years. Probably the place where he's had the most success, in his career. But unfortunately for Jaddy, it was this man, Paul, that just came back on, storming down the line with one of the best waves we've seen in the competition so far.
8.07 for this. Just desserts for a really well-surfed wave. Had a ton of variety, thrown buckets of spray. And I think the finish on the end, that is classic Vasco Ribeiro, just belting that thing, slamming the lid shut.
Yeah, and Jadson just came back. You can see him. He didn't get as many waves, as many manoeuvres on this turn, but these last two were absolute belters. I tell you what, there's been about, 4 or 5 contenders for the EDP wave of the day, and it's just in this first heat of the men's elimination round. So both surfers doing really, really well. A great show with 1 minute on the clock, though. It's the hometown hero that's got his nose in front.
No further waves ridden, as we were just bringing you the recap there. Situation remains unchanged, and Jadson Andre's up against it here. A minute to go in this heat 1, heat of round 2, our elimination round for the men. And he needs a number, doesn't have priority either, and that's reflected in the positioning, where you'll see Vasco Ribeiro with a ton of competitive experience of his own, just sitting a little bit inside and wider, and he can keep a very watchful eye on the Brazilian veteran. If a good wave comes through with the potential of a 7.58, he will be allowed to just drop straight in on him and use that priority. Let's see if we get some more sets come through. With 30 seconds on the clock, this is looking very ominous now, Ben.
Yeah, it just looks like it's gone pretty flat. 30 or less than 30 seconds, and without priority, Jadson's in a spot of bother. It's such a shame. He's surfed so well in both heats. He's flown from Brazil. 10 seconds on the clock, a few heats to go. But it's if he does go out here, it's going to be a shame, because he's put all the effort in, all the hard work, and this is his last wave, last throw up the dice.
All right, looking for 7.58. Jadson Andre had to go something. He has found a wave. It is a softer one, though. And I'll be very surprised if this bears the kind of fruit that he requires for a quarter-final spot. He'll just bring this one in here, and it will be disappointment from him, but such a good sport. Little thumbs up there to Vasco, and I think he'll probably, and he reflects on this, think, yeah, He caught the better way, surfed him a bit better.
Ganhada mesmo nos instantes finais
And
por
as
parte
a
do
result
brasileiro,
of that, a little bit comedic as he comes in. I like it. Ever the showman, Chad Sondre. What a great guy. So cool to have him back on the championship tour as well. A little victory lap here for Vasco Ribeiro, who a little fresh haircut from today. He had those little frosted tips going yesterday, and he's actually looks like he's taken the razor to them. So back in his more customary darker hues, and a very close crop on the haircut, keeping a very watchful eye on the lip line. At Ribeiro does, he'll tag that one and bring it in. And I tell you what, Portugal will be smiling for the moment. He's one of their favourite sons, and their great hopes for surfing from the men's side. Makes it through successfully to the quarter-final. Plenty more Portuguese interest, of course, in this all the way through this round. Vasco Ribeiro just bringing it in close to those rocks there, and he can breathe and relax. That's him done for the day. We're just finishing up this round of non-elimination round 2. We're going to come back with heat 2 of this round. We're going to get a quick commercial break. Join us some more live action. It's the MEO Portugal Cup of Surfing right after this.
Nascido e criado para o surf nestas ondas, mete e ré. É a resposta atrás do MEO Portugal. Também passa grandes temporadas em Portugal. Não é propriamente desconhecido estas ondas do MEO Portugal, que também é um surfista que já passou pelo ouro todo, teve lesionado no ano de 2019. O MEO continua a trabalhar como não pensava esta onda do Portugal. Esses dois surfistas juntamente com o Vasco Ribeiro
Welcome back to a sunny afternoon, Wednesday afternoon in Portugal. And it is Ericeira, the famous surf town on this coast. Very wave-blessed coast of Portugal. And coming into the autumn season, time of year when we generally tend to play host some of the biggest names from around the world. We've got one of them in this heat. His name's Leo Fioravanti, representing Italy. He's taken on a local boy, Enrique Pirate, comes from this very spot. And on top of all that, it's also his birthday, Ben.
Oh, does it get any better than that? Imagine this as a present. Comes in, gets a wild card into the event at home, and he's already up and riding. So he's got a good start on his birthday. Just clicks it up on the top. Now staying busy, looking for the section down the line. As we talked about, he knows this wave perhaps better than anybody, except his dad. And he's just sticking with it, but he didn't get the wall he needed. But a win here over Leonardo Fioravanti on his birthday, and his home break. Does it get any better than that, Paul?
Still swinging down on this inside, so putting in work on this one. Oh, wow. And he's still going in here, Ben. So good stuff from Enrique Pirate. Happy
wow,
birthday.
I sort of just drifted off. I thought the wave was done. There was another whole 3 minutes to it. So what a start.
All right. We're going to check him out. Here goes Enrique Pirate. And a quick quick wave there. Just a little stab in the lip. Live action from him as he gets a second wave on the board. That's going to come in as a low number, but he posted something interesting early on. That was almost like a story of two waves, wasn't it? He got that wave and we thought this is going to fizzle out, and then he's fired up again. That inside section is turning on for Enrique Pirate, and he'll open up a little bit of a lead over that man there, Championship Tour surfer out of Italy, Leonardo Fioravanti. Let's have a look at what Leo's got done.
Yeah, Leo's first wave, trademark swooping wave, comes around the corner, eyeing for section, real quick. On that Bradley model surfboard, looks pretty fluid at the moment. Again, just waiting for that sort of steepness that Bashko and Jadson found. I'm not sure that one had that sort of steepness of face he required, and 3.67 up against that long 4.17 for Enrique. So yeah, solid start for both surfers.
Yeah, nothing to get overly excited about. Pretty similar to our last heat, 4 and a 3 between our surfers to open up. And Leo just trying to suss out this line. I hope there is a bit of bump to deal with on the face. There are good waves out there. There's proverbial diamonds in the rough. The question of who can find them. If you're just betting on sort of natural raw surfing talent and ability, gonna be favouring that man, Fioravanti, but never count out the locals. Coming in with that kind of wild card feel, no pressure, and chance for a major upset. Enrique Pirate could be very dangerous out here at the moment. He's in a lead early on. Of course, Leo just taking that one wave. We've lost over 5.5 minutes in this one so far. Half an hour heats hopefully should provide plenty of opportunity, but when the good waves come, you will need to make the most of them. It's about eliminating mistakes, pushing hard enough to get the score, but not overdoing things. And I just wonder, Ben, getting inside the head of Leo with this season, and you know how competitive he is, even in free surfs and stuff like that. You'd probably be thinking he might be one of those athletes that finds it a bit easier to fire up for competition than others. Yeah,
I think so. It burns pretty constant and pretty bright in his Italian heart, that competitive act. He's going to need it here up against the local.
Well, inside wave, an interesting choice there for Pirate. And when I say interesting, I mean not great choice. Meanwhile, right behind him, here's Fioravanti, bouts one with a ton of spray in that afternoon, early evening sunshine. Now swing around and connect this thing. Nice little stab through the lip onto the rail there. And this will be a decent wave for Leo again. See those kind of 1-2 punch combinations. He goes the rail turn and then takes on the lip. And still looking to milk this inside in here or get it cooperatively. And he'll use that speed. He'll just tag this thing. Kind of ripping that rail through the lip line of that, and a really well surfed wave, Ben.
Yeah, he really did. Just kept going on that wave really well, timed every turn well. He's got a apartment just up over the hill. I mean, we talk about Enrique Pirate being the local, but Leonardo Fioravanti spent a lot of time in these Portuguese waters.
He's got an apartment in the garden of the house that he owns just across the valley. He's got a nice place up there, Leo.
Yeah, he really has.
He's doing all right.
And yeah, I mean, I think if he's based in Hossega, and that is a place that, especially in winter, as you well know, Paul, being a Hossega or Capriton local, gets absolutely belted by those winter storms sometimes. And an 8-hour drive, you can be down here, tucked away around some of these corners and these little nooks and crannies and bays. So anyway, he spent a lot of time down here, is what I'm trying to say, and it showed on that wave because he read it really well. He warmed up as he went down the line. He got faster, he got snappier, and it's really, really great surfing. Leo looks to be on point and on form.
No mistakes in that one, and just the tenacity to just keep on sharpening it. Anytime that wave offered anything up, he was relentless in the attack. It's going to be a good number coming in for Leo. It's going to see him going to the lead. Let's see the reply, live action from Enrique Pirate. He's taking a weird wobbly wave here. Maybe he's seen something that we can't on this tight shot. As he looks down the line, he'll project over a foamy section. Keep the speed going, a little sting. But this wave always a little bit wobbly out the back. Let's see if it sets up to finish on the inside. There's a nice turn from him as he'll send buckets of spray. And he'll just check. Again, this one has pushed a little bit wide. Let's see what the inside does for him. He is looking down the line. Seen a section he likes the look of. Not a great reply there from Enrique Pirates. Let's get another look, Ben.
Yeah, he obviously saw that wave sort of folding on down the line. He waited, didn't get any really turns out the back, which And he did start to warm up here. I've actually been pretty impressed with Henrique, his approach to these two heats. You know, it's not easy coming in surfing against these CT level surfers when, you know, you're a local wild card. Haven't has a lot of experience against super elite surfers, and in both heats so far, he's picked good waves. He's done some really nice clean surfing in the pocket. Hasn't been quite able to get that, you know, incredible wave that might mean bridge the gap between the talent levels, but he surfed really strong. So yeah, I've been enjoying it.
While we wait for that score to lock in for Henrique Pirate, we're going to go down here for the winner of the last heat. It's the Portuguese ripper, Vasco Ribeiro. He's standing by with Diogo.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. I'm here with Vasco Ribeiro. Vasco, what a battle that was. How is to face Jadson André in the beach that you know so well, but it's always hard to fight against city surfer.
Yeah, obviously it's always hard to surf against Jadson. He's, you know, one of the best by far. So I was not really worried about. I'm not really worried about anyone, because, you know, when you have waves like this, you just kind of have to focus on yourself and try to be on the best waves. It's actually really hard to find them because the tide is so high yet still, but you know, there's really good waves, and I'm really happy to make it to the last day. And tomorrow, normally it's going to be really good, so that's what I'm looking for.
We know that you have a special feeling in this beach. Back in 2014, you were World's Junior Champ. So we're going to use that hype to win again here.
Yeah, Ribeira it's a really special place for me, obviously. So many good memories, but you know, every comp is different, and this one it's no different. Everyone is surfing really good, and the conditions are perfect. So obviously, I know I feel really comfortable here, and it's one of the places I like to surf the most, and I know the wave really well. But you know, everyone is a really good surfer, so anything can happen.
Thanks, Vasco. Good luck for the next round. Back to you, boys.
Thanks, Diogo. Great job, Vasco Ribeiro. Pretty smart debrief from him as well. And he's through the quarterfinals. He's going to be dangerous on finals day. That's looking very likely to be tomorrow. 18.5 to go in this one, second heat of our elimination rounds. And we saw just during that interview a wave from the local Henrique Pirate.
Yeah, he got up nice. This is a better looking wave from Henrique. It's the ones he wants. Nice big green walls. There's a vertical click in the pocket. Drives around a little bit stiff on that one, but this wave hopefully might sort of wall up down the line for him. I was just saying how well he's been doing and hasn't been sort of feeling the pressure. And just missed that little connection section, so unlucky for Henrique. But Leo's only got a 5.83 and a 3.67, so yeah, he's still well within a striking range.
Yeah, no one to really put something big on the board, but the better of things so far has been that man there, Leo Fioravanti. 5.83, his last wave, his best effort in this one. And obviously he's been around on the scene for a while, but let's find out a little bit more about him and have a word in his shell. Leo Fioravanti, we did manage to catch up with him, put together a little package from him. And of course, always got quite a lot to say for himself. Makes him a very interesting character. Let's have a listen.
When I heard that WSL was doing some competitions in Europe, it got me so excited because we're competitors, so we love to compete. And this year it's been so weird not putting a jersey every other week. And so when I heard that there was some events in Europe, it really got me pumped up. And it gave me something to look forward to, which I didn't really have since March this year. So it's super exciting, and I can't wait to compete in France and in Portugal. It's going to be cool. We want to compete with the best. I want to compete with the best like we always do, and it could be a really exciting event, especially if we get the best waves. So I think the level will be really high, and it's going to be exciting. It's going to be really fun, I think, because everybody has that fire. 6 months without competing, you have that fire of competing, that fire of wanting to put the jersey on, and I think everybody will be so excited. And everybody's training. I think everybody's preparing better than we've ever prepared. I know myself, I feel the best I've ever felt in my career, and I just can't wait to put the jersey back on. I can't even imagine next year when we actually get back into the tour, what it'll be like.
Well, I think it's fair to say Leo's pretty stoked about competition, being back in Europe. Let's check out the birthday boy, Henrique Pirate. Can he bring many happy returns on this right-hander at Ribeira Dilas? Not with that last manoeuvre. Got a little bit of shroud done before that. Not sure he's going to threaten the requirement he needs to get back into first over Leo Fioravanti. Not a massively high scoring affair. I'm just thinking, Ben, if we process that 5.83 from the judges, that high score of the heat so far from Leo, I just wonder maybe you could have probably possibly put that up in the 6 range. I'm just thinking maybe between the manoeuvres, lost a little bit of speed every time. It almost like he had to get going again.
Yeah, I think in that first sort of section, especially that first half of the wave, he was driving along. He didn't have that flow that he's really famous for. And you're right, he was just getting caught, and there wasn't a lot of links. And then eventually he got a bit of speed up and he did a few turns, but they weren't. Yeah, there was lacking the flow that the judges quite like. So, but yeah, he'll come back. You saw in that interview. I mean, well, you know, Leo, we talk about having characters in surfing, and sometimes people, I think, incorrectly say that we've lost some of those sort of spirited sort of surfers. But you look at Leo; he's so confident. He's so certain of who he is. He's so passionate about the sport, and he speaks so well. I think he's just like a bolt of positivity to the brain. That interview, I really enjoyed that passion. I love it.
Midway point in this heat, the company man Leo Fioravanti saying all the right things, and at the moment with a lead in this one, but it's not a high scoring affair so far. Let's hope this thing fires up in terms of quality. Got a little bit of action out the back here, just standing up on one of the outer reefs and then filling in towards our competition area at Ribeira de Ilhas. Of course, this is the MEO Portugal Cup of Surfing, and we are into the elimination round, choosing our quarterfinalists, women's quarterfinalists. They've all been decided. That went down this morning. Now it's over to men's side of things. Looks like no one really particularly interested on that little set of waves. We're going to get a quick commercial break. Just over 14 on the clock. More live action from Ribeira de Ilhas. Can the local boy, Enrique Pirate, get a win over Leo Fioravanti? Find out when we come back after the break. Sunny skies in Portugal and high level competition out in the water. It's been a measured effort in terms of wave count for Leonardo Fioravanti of the Championship Tour. Had him in a little package speaking about his passion for competing again. This is live action here on Enrique Pirate, the local, and he'll take on a section. Did well to manage that. That's not an easy turn to do, but he's going to have to let some sections just kind of unload without him. Now he's back on the face and swinging. Got a couple of cracks at this kind of slopier section and hope for a little inside runner. Just swooping through here. I wonder how many times he's done this in his life. Many, many. And as we see him silhouetted, just coming into that very inside bowl, or look for a little lip to hit. He hasn't done major damage so far on this wave, and he cannot emerge from the shadows of that one. Ben, he'll go down on the inside.
Yeah, that's right. He surfed it really well, and then just got it. That first sort of hit was really critical, and then he worked so hard to get that last bit in, and then unfortunately just couldn't quite make it. So Enrique, still right in the game. He needs 5.18. I mean, that wave. Well, we'll see where the judges put it, but he gave it a crack. That's for sure.
Up next, Gatien Delay, Frenchman out of Guadeloupe. Hails from the Caribbean. He's ripping last year on the QS. Got himself in a really good position up there in the ratings. Surfed really, really well last week in the French Rendezvous up in Anglet. And he looks the picture of sort of relaxation. It's all very happy. Do you like to see a happy surf for a heat, or do you like anger?
The requirement for red is still a 5.
I'm gonna go happy. I
don't actually believe you, no?
No, I just love to see Gatien. He just makes me happy. I love his wetsuit trim. I love I love the fact that he's always got a smile. He's a showman. He's got charisma, and I like that. And he just quietly absolutely rips. So Gatien De La Haye, yeah, a lot of those international viewers out there might not have seen a lot of Gatien surfing, but yeah, he's really powerful, and he's got some big turns. He can be quite explosive.
I tell you what, he's got a heat on his hands. He's coming up in that next matchup, and he's taking on Kanoa Igarashi of the Championship Tour. Of course, Kanoa, bit of a sort of home from home over here in Portugal as well. Spends a lot of time over here.
Citizens of the world, aren't they? Him and his good mate Leo Fioravanti, you know. Kanoa born in Japan, grew up in America, spends a lot of time in Portugal, speaks 3 or 4 different languages, as does Leo. So yeah, they're just so comfortable where they are in the planet, make friends wherever they roam, kind of thing. And yeah, that's great. So, but in terms of being happy or sad, do you like a sort of a preheat kind of board smash? You know, like just punch the fins out before they paddle out in the heat. I don't know if I'd like to see that.
So a little set there, just unloading on the reef at Ribeira de Ilhas. Leonardo Fioravanti's just caught 2 waves, and he hasn't been interested in any of these sets so far. And there we go with a little whitewater takeoff. Great looking opening section. Here we go. Belts one off the top. The spray covers acres here at Ribeira de Ilhas. Now there'll be a little bit of downtime through this softer section. The bigger sets do push a little bit wide. And we'll just have to be patient here. We'll stay really close to that whitewater and look for it inside. That one pushed wide and off the reef. But a couple of big opening belts from Leo.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting to see how the judges clean up, because that was like a new type of wave that we'd seen. I think, as you're saying, that the conditions changing as the heat progresses to the tide, and that was a big wave of the day, one of the biggest ones I've seen. Look how green, Bells-ish, and you're right about that spray. Even that one had a lot of spray in the second turn. So, yeah, the judges love spray. That's a sign that the surfer's engaging the rail and pushing as hard as you can. And there's only 2 turns. Be interesting to see exactly where they put that on the spectrum.
Well, where's Leo sitting on the Jeep leaderboard? Let's take a look at that graphic and see where he is. Of course, earned himself his Championship Tour spot. Back on tour. We do have our Euro Cup of Surfing Jeep leaderboard as well.
I can tell you he's 3rd. Yeah, got a semi-final in the French Rendezvous Surfing. And so, yeah, on the Jeep leaderboard, he's he's well placed. He's just waiting to pounce if Italo was to make a mistake. And I think he's, probably, sort of my backing is most likely to unseat the champion.
Well, he's improved on his position in this one. A 5.77 drops in for that work done. Stellar work on the outside. Wait a long time for that wave. And rewarded. Some big hits out the back. Let's take a look at the Jeep leaderboard. There it is. Italo Ferreira, your world champion. He's wearing the Jeep leader jersey. Not going to see him this afternoon. Be back tomorrow. We are pretty sure to be running finals day tomorrow. Andy Criet, he's not down here in Portugal, unfortunately, after that final showing in France. And you look at names like Vasco Ribeiro. We've just seen him make it through a heat. Kanoa Igarashi down there, equal 5th. He's coming up against another equal 5th, Gatien De La Haye. So it's all very close on that Jeep leaderboard. And Ramsey Bukiam's just sitting outside the top 10. Expect him to make some major moves. He's back for quarterfinals tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right. They're all winning the shot. Obviously, that Jeep leaderboard, the leader there, Italo Ferreira, they're the one that they've got to overcome. The world champion and Jeep leaderboard leader at the moment. So, if he, by some huge upset, which is entirely possible, Italo were to bow out early, all those surfers, Leo, Kanoa, Freddie Moraes, Gatien even, they're all ready to pounce. So, yeah, the Euro Cup of Surfing, the first ever version of this sort of trophy, given the current situation around the world competitively. And it's get your hands on a new trophy is no small thing, Paul.
Under the 7-minute mark here, we see a couple of woolly sets unloading in that bright afternoon sunshine. Beautiful place to watch the sunset, check the waves. Ribeira de Ilhas, an iconic break, part of the World Surfing Reserve here in Ericeira, Portugal, and also a venue for competition. It's the MEO Portugal Cup, and it's Leo Fioravanti of the Championship Tour on a kind of an inside wave with a bit of white water on the face. Let's just see what this one does for Leo as he engages in a bottom turn. He'll just kind of slash in the pocket with a little snap, drift the fins, and he'll get busy in slightly ungainly fashion, but does well to recover and get back on the wave. There's a great hit from him. I love the way he accelerated. Wow. And he's innovating with a nice layback slash in the lip. And I tell you what, it's got acrobatics, it's got innovation. And I really enjoyed that finish from Leo.
Yeah, it was. He really put his back into it. And then you could sense that he lost his balance a little bit, but just improvised with his body movement. You might have a look. So he has a look at the back straight away. He seemed a little bit sort of preoccupied with other things going on, but then he starts to fire up. Yeah, you're right, this bit in the middle where he just got hung up. Really unlike him. Went for a little thing. I mean, I'll tell you what, he worked hard for that though, didn't he? He was going to give up. And then now he starts to fang down the line. What's he do here? Nice little click. This next one we have to watch slowly because he goes around, lays back, one foot comes off and just sort of exits. Not particularly cleanly, but yeah, real style, real tenacity, if nothing else. You know, like if you put the coach's hat on, as Richard Marsh will do, that little very old sweaty Sharks thing he gets around in, you'll say that wasn't, he left some points on that wave. There was a few sections where he had to fight hard, and even the exit wasn't clean, but he still did plenty of good work on it.
Yeah, rip that wave apart. Good stuff from Leo Fioravanti. Judge is going to process the score. A couple of fives, high fives so far in his top two. That's why he's got that total of 11.6. Enrique Pirate's got a job of work on his hands. 7.27, that requirement. As a first priority, though, he needs to think quality. Pirate needs to find himself a bomb and bring his best surf in. And that, of course, that situation assumes that Leo doesn't improve on that last wave. Looks like we've got some sets filling in. This is encouraging for our final 4 minutes and 20 seconds. Here goes Pirates. And he's found himself a good-looking wave here. Nice vertical crack. And then again, he'll snap in the lip and straight into a deep bottom turn. That was spicy. And no loss of speed whatsoever. And then this little section of the wave is time to kind of set up, think about an inside, and if the wave cooperates, he'll look to steer his vessel through some troubled waters through to the inside. And he's done that successfully. And he's on a little racetrack section. And he'll go into the lip there. Nice release of the tail straight into a bottom turn. Vertical stab, nice combo. He's building up a head of steam in here. Almost dry docks it on dry rocks. And look at that, straight into line down. Trying to keep the fins in the bottom of that board off those sharp Ribeira rocks. What a wave he put together.
My legs are aching just watching that. I mean, that first turn was solid. He surfed this wave really well. We said at the start he was going to have to get the best waves of the heat and surf to his utmost potential, and he's just done that there. That's probably the best sort of breaking wave. Now this bit was flat. This is where my legs started to hurt. I had a little cramp on the left leg. I saw hammy started to tweak, but then he wound up again. Got his rest. He's a fit young man. It's his birthday. He's not going to cry if he wants to. He's going to make him count. So we'll just see where they came in. He needed a big 7.37 on the dry rocks. Gets it out of there. Even does that with a fair bit of style, I might add. And Pirate, well, we'll see if he gets a score. Even if he doesn't, he's shown what he's made of. And I'm super impressed.
Leo improves slightly. 5.87 for his last wave. So improves. In fact, that'll be his high score going in with his 5.83. The requirement 7.37 for Pirates. That number's going to drop in, and then he's going to get into the lineup. Don't have a priority yet from Leo on our screen, assuming he'll probably get into the lineup first and snag that. It's going to come down the last couple of minutes. If he doesn't get the score, he's going to bring down his requirement here on Enrique Pirates. But a 7.37, Ben's quite a big number. What do you think? I'm going to put you on the spot here.
I'm not sure. I've never been very good at this judging sort of business, but I know that he'll be up there. I think,
mate, don't be hard on yourself.
Yeah. It's a hard job. That's what I'm saying. Scores are coming in. It's going to be close. I'm thinking high sixes, but he gave it a good dig. If he just hadn't let him some of those earlier waves where he fell off, I think if he'd just been in a position to get maybe a high six or. It would have been a lot closer, but I don't think it's going to be quite enough. But I'll tell you what, he didn't leave anything on that wave. He surfed it really well, and he's going to give the judges a big job to do here. And I'm not envious of it. It's difficult.
On the clock, score starting to come in. It's going to come in under for Enrique Pirate. He's not going to wait around to hear that score. He's going to stay busy here. He'll take off on a wave about 2/3 of the way out the back, and he'll rip a first turn. 6.5 drops for him, and he shrouds this one. The requirement now 5.2. So a brand new requirement for Enrique Pirate, and he belts that as a really nice turn. He might run out of wave here. And if he had another section there, Ben, you'd be thinking he could be well on his way to a 5.2. As it stands, We're going to put you on the spot again. 5-2 for that.
I don't think so. Again, I'll tell you what, it was difficult for Henrique because he didn't know his score he required when he took off. And, you know, I think it's really close. Really, it's a 4.43, so it was close again. I mean, he's given it all.
Live action, Fioravanti, foamy takeoff. Nice steep section though. Engages the rail, just carves down, jams off the whitewater. A little set-up downturn, boom, into the lip for him. Picks up the speed, carving in the pocket. That was nicely done. This is a great-looking wave for Leo. Oh, that's nice. Reverses out the lip, ditching the fins. And he'll just bring this one all the way through. 15 seconds to go. He'll bring this one all the way in. And that was only his 5th wave surfed out there. I tell you what, Henrique Pirate is giving a really good account of himself. He might be a little bit annoyed with the way the results gone, but I tell you, it's not from lack of trying. He ripped this heat, Ben.
He really did, and I think as we walk through the recap, the main difference between the surfers is the variety. Leonardo just had a bit more sort of, you know, a variety of manoeuvres. He was doing cutbacks, he was getting the fins released, he was always mixing it up on all the waves. And Henrique, who surfs really, really well, he had that stock backhand Rio, and it's hard on your backhand to get variety. That's a problem with these, you know, on your backhand in competitive surfing. But he just couldn't quite get enough fins out or a bit of tail release or something that just gave a point of difference. And although he surfed really, really well to get really close to one of the world's best surfers, I mean, it was an incredible effort. He just didn't have quite the variety to get over the line, which is a real shame. Not for this man, though. He'll be happy to sneak through that one and knows he's got, you know, probably a bit of work to do, actually. He can surf better than that.
So less than a point in it at the end, but I tell you what, super impressive from Henrique Pirate. And I tell you what, he absolutely belted the lip out here. As you said, he quite have the variety in terms of the repertoire, but he's got a great read on this wave. His commitment's absolutely on point, and Ribeira Dilia's super proud of him.
Oh, he should take so much out of this. You know, he surfs in the QS, surfs in local competitions, and if he can sort of carry on this confidence and that form, he's going to be a very, very hard man to beat in lots of different conditions. I'm a new fan, massive new fan, basically. Where do I sign up for the Pirate fan club?
So Leo Fioravanti bringing it back to the beach. He will make it through to the quarterfinals. Official results as we see the beautiful scene looking down from the cliff top. The iconic Ribeira Dilia's Fioravanti out of Italy, getting the nod over Pirate, the Portuguese. That'll wrap up heat number 2 of round 2, our elimination round. We're going to bring you Kanoa Igarashi of the Championship Tour. We're going to bring you Gassian De La Haye, one of the bright prospects from Europe. That's coming at you live from Portugal right after this.
Leo Fioravanti. Já na água, desenvolvendo o Kanoa Igarashi. E azul o francês Gassian De La Haye. So in the water now in number 3, second round of the band. Coming from Japan in red, Kanoa Igarashi, and coming from France in blue, Gassian De La Haye.
It's the World Surf League's Countdown Series. It's the MEO Portugal Cup of Surfing. And it's Heat 3 of the elimination round. Kanoa Igarashi of Japan taking on Gassian De La Haye of France. And another scintillating looking matchup this. More of the established start. Obviously, big wins under his belt already on the Championship Tour. Kanoa Igarashi, originally hailing from Huntington Beach, California. Been based for a number of years over here in Portugal at Cascais, just down the coast. Cassian Delay from the French Caribbean. A couple of thousand miles, kind of southwest from here, across the pond. Been competing in Europe for a number of years. Been a standout among that next crop of exciting European talents. Well, let's have a look here, Ben. This happened early on. First blood drawn by Cassian Delay.
Yeah, big, tall, lanky surfer. He's pretty much known for his backhand, actually. He's a really weapon. But here he is on his forehand, fanking down the line, staying busy, just looking for some open face. I'm not sure if he doesn't get any there. So, yeah, not away. But 4.33, I mean, a solid enough start. But he'll be looking for some more open face to do those swooping trademark carves of his.
30 minutes in this heat. So plenty of time for our surfers to get a couple of waves and try and find some bomb sets out here. We have seen some of these waves stand up on the outside a bit soft and then really flare up through that inside section, offering plenty of opportunity for our surfers. Impressive performance. Both of our athletes in that last heat. First heat as well was a real ding-dong clash. Ashka Ribeiro and Jadson Andre. Loads of CT talent in this round. One of them successful. He's through the quarterfinals. His name's Leo Fioravanti, and he's standing by with Diogo.
Yeah, thanks, boys. I'm here with Leonardo Fioravanti. Leonardo, first of all, congratulations on the winning. You are always in a smile on your face. Are you having some fun here at Portugal or what?
I think if I lost, I wouldn't have this smile, but of course I'm always happy. I love Portugal. I have a house here. I love spending time in Ericeira. It's such a beautiful place, and I'm stoked to be competing here again.
It's good. It's got to be good. So, regarding this wave, what are your feelings? You like to surf here? This is a mobile event. When you heard that it was in Ericeira, what are your thoughts?
Well, hearing the mobile event was really exciting, and of course, I think we all were dreaming of stand-up barrels at Super Tubes. But Ribeira is a really fun wave. I've had some good results here. I think it's a really rippable wave, and I mean to surf a competition here, it's amazing. I love this place, and like I said, I'm stoked to be competing in Portugal. It's got some amazing waves, and stoked to be back.
Okay, thanks, Leo. Congrats, and looking forward to see you in the next round.
Subscribe to my YouTube channel. We're just starting a good journey.
Whoa, what happened there, Ben? Leo, a bit of unauthorized subscribe to his YouTube channel. What?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Mate, we're already subscribed, aren't we?
Too late, mate.
Love it.
I've already logged on. I've vlogged on.
Anytime he drops a vlog, I'm all over it.
I've got a little one of those. Not an alert, but my house alarm goes off when Leo drops a vlog. And yeah, well, of course he would. He spent the last 6 months in a really interesting time throughout the COVID. He was stuck in Australia, stuck in Byron Bay, ripping. And
with Richard Marsh, so yin yang.
Yeah, yin and yang. Yeah, he got through that. He got through that emotional turmoil. Came over here. He's been back in France, getting good waves. Also did a quick little trip to Tahiti. So he stayed right in the game. He said he's as fit as a fiddle. So why wouldn't you want to watch his life? It's I would say it's a little bit more entertaining than mine, Paul.
And let's think about Kanoa Igarashi of the Championship Tour case.
Yes, please.
Of course, these days, kind of a threat at any location pretty much. Surfing has just come on leaps and bounds. He's been based in Portugal for a long time. We're going to check out a clip of him and have a little word inside his shell and get his thoughts.
It's been a really strange year. It was supposed to be a year where we had a lot of contests, the Olympics and everything. And everything being canceled was a little bit weird, at the beginning of the year. But it gave me a lot of time to train, to prepare myself for, future events. And yeah, I'm really excited to put the jersey on again and see how all my training has been going. And the best way to showcase your results are in competition. For me, the contest starts a week before. You start to sleep earlier, you start to eat a little bit different. For me, I like to surf a little bit less. All of that preparation towards the event is what excites me the most. I'm really excited to compete with Leo. I've been training with him a lot. He's one of my best friends, and we've been training a lot. So it'll be exciting to see whose training did better and to see if we can get a good man-on-man heat together. In the final would be the best. Wow, I'm so excited. For me, there's a lot of emotion involved because I love to compete, I love to surf, and then not competing for so long, and then all of this happening, and it's a time of year where there's a really good chance to get good waves. Now that my house is here in Portugal, I'll just drive, it'll be a nice trip, I'll go with some friends. I think it's going to be a mobile event, so we'll try and find the best waves in Portugal, which is not very hard, and I think we'll definitely score good waves wherever we are, and it'll be a good event to watch.
Igarashi there, just explaining it's going to be emotional when it gets back to competition. As yet, hasn't shown us much of that so far, and this one's been quiet from him. Nearly 22 remaining, 8 gone in this one. Just the 4.33 from Delay at the moment. Now Igarashi very much keeping his powder dry, but he's so experienced and sort of composed, and he'll just be waiting for those right opportunities.
Yeah, that's true. But I do know he turns 23. In a couple of days' time. So, as of now, he's 22 years of age. Still so young. I mean, to think the experience he's already got, locked away. He came on tour at 18, 5 years in the CT, always been consistent. Some of his best results have been at Pipe, J-Bay, Karamas. So he's such a well-rounded surfer. Although I was interested, he's kind of reminded me of you a little bit, and he changes his routine before the events turn up. You go to bed early, you eat differently, surf less. It was interesting that you sort of share that same pre-event sort of strategy. But what a star of the sport. Massive in Japan. He's big in Japan, being Japanese surf. The Olympics was going to be a huge thing for surfing and for canoa. But he's here now, he's excited, and he knows this coastline so well. So I'm expecting big things. We haven't really seen him light up on either legs yet, so I reckon that this could be the one.
And he's just about to turn 23, you were saying.
1st of October.
Ben, if you had your time again, if you had the genie came out of the bottle, or the Burundi coffee cup, so to speak, and you got the chance to do it all over again in this crazy, beautiful thing called life, back to 23 or stick with what you got?
I'd stay right where I am, mate. I'd stay here with you watching this. I mean, all the decisions I've made.
It's been a journey.
Yeah, all the decisions I've made have led me to this position, and I wouldn't give that away for anything or for anyone. So, yeah.
20 and a half remaining on this one. Half an hour of clock time. Started off our elimination heat number 3. Looking for our next quarter finalist to go into that round, along with surfers made it all the way from that first round with a bye, with a victory in round 1. These surfers unable to finish in that first place. That's why they're surfing the elimination round at the moment. Igarashi just very patient in the lineup. No real need to expend any energy paddling around. Cassian Delay with the second prio. So a little lull in terms of activity from sets in this one. And being on the right point break, there isn't really a chance to kind of waste energy and speculate and paddle around at a beach break, maybe sort of sniff something out, or you just kind of stick and wait. It almost makes it a lot easier for if a wave doesn't come. Just going to sit there and wait for it.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of strategy you can do. Obviously just picking the right wave in the set. But even, I think on these points, the first wave of the set tends to be the best one anyway. So even that isn't such a difficult decision. Being patient, though, is hard when you just want to surf. You just want to catch some waves. He's had 10 minutes already, Kanoa, and he hasn't caught a wave. So, that becomes difficult. But there's some bit of motion in the ocean out there now, and I reckon he might start his account up pretty soon.
A little bit of sort of furiously kicking legs there, right in the grill of Gassian Delahaye from Kanoa Igarashi. I'm sure it's just a reposition in terms of his spot in the lineup. He did mention should have been Olympics this year. Obviously, it didn't happen. But interestingly enough, we talk about waiting periods, making the best of what we got here. But on the dates the Olympics would have run, it was pretty small, I think, over there near Tokyo, what the venue would have been. So maybe surfing dodged a little bit of a bullet in some regards, not having the event this year. Yeah,
maybe that's a bit of the classic silver lining to every cloud, I would say. But I mean, the waves will be small unless there's a typhoon. I'll tell you what, this wave doesn't look too small. It's absolutely nice, but it shut down fast, and he made the decision to kick out, leaving Kanoa out the back. This looks like a nice one, Paul Evans.
Igarashi's waited patiently. He'll fade his takeoff into this, and there's a beautiful wrapping turn up in the lip, engaging the rails. Another nice hit from him. So much board control at speed. It'll go fat here for him, and he'll look to just kind of swing down an S onto this inside if possible. But he's already got some damage done out the back. And just setting up sweetly in here. Such a precise surfer. It's another great hit from him. Has a signature turn, that kind of fling out of the lip from Igarashi, and he'll belt this as well on the end. That is really well surfed.
That was an amazing display. We talked about how he's been waiting, been patient. We haven't really seen the best of him. I'd say if you was out there, just wait. Look at these first 3 turns. There's not a single shutter in between the bottom end turns. He clicks them hard. He drives off. There's no rail-to-rail transitions. It's super clean. And then even this bit where it's a big fat section, sure, you have to bounce your board to get through it, but even then he's looking pretty calm and pretty smooth and finishes it off. I mean, that's the best wave I've seen today. And I've seen a lot, I'll tell you that. That for nothing. And yeah, I loved it. I reckon that's Kanoa Igarashi at his very best, or at least approaching the form that he has.
Absolutely smoking. We're going to have another look at it here from a slightly tighter angle, kind of standing back over the tail, and just the unweighting from front foot to back foot. So precise, really impressive. Got a lot of polish in his game as well. And judges are probably going to be going all the way up the scale here, possibly going into the excellent range, Ben.
Yeah, I think so. It was so well surfed, one of the better waves we've seen. And yeah, we're back. I mean, he's so technically proficient. He works so hard on his surfing too. He's a real student. He's a listener. Spent a lot of time with Jake Patterson early on in his career, and he's soaked up all the knowledge and all the, that technique work, all the fitness work sort of shown in that wave.
All right, there's the spread from our judging panel. One goes as high as a 9. The other 4, say 8.5, comes in as an 8.5. What a way to start a heat. So patient. Waited a full 13 minutes before taking that wave. Knew exactly what he was looking for. Good display. Talk about the technique, but really joined up thinking as well between his manoeuvres. Looked like everything flowed together so well. Almost looked like he was thinking about his next manoeuvre ahead before he even went into the manoeuvre he was executing. Brilliantly done, whichever way you want to describe it. And this beautiful Wednesday evening, Ribeira de las just turned slightly more sour from the point of view of Gassian De La Haye. Just from the point that his adversary has an excellent number on the board. Gassian won't mind that too much. We like to see big scores go in early on. Germany tends to kind of up the quality. And let's see what Gassian's got in reply. Does a priority, needs to get a wave looking like that one. It was the second wave of the set, interestingly. Yeah. That seemed to be the better one there, Ben.
Yeah, funny that, having I just mentioned that was not the case. Yeah, I mean, and the only reason I think it didn't go even higher was that there wasn't the progression element. He had a probably opportunity at that last section to boost. It would have been a risky manoeuvre. I mean, he's got an 8.5. Yeah, I know. That's the difference between 8.5 and a 9.5 or even a 10. But he played it smart. He played competitively smart. But in case you're wondering why it didn't go a little bit higher, that was what I might suggest. But yeah, the second wave, see Gassian. When that first one tried to sort of even sell it to him and he didn't buy it. And yeah, he went on and absolutely smashed it. So what a way to start the heat. Gassian's got some work to do. 15 minutes or less remaining in this heat.
Well, he'll just be patient out there. Wait for an opportunity. No point scrapping around really for another 4 at this stage. Although that's the requirement he needs for first, because just the one wave ridden from Kanoa Igarashi, that man there. Just drink in the sunshine, and let's have another
this
admiration.
First turn, Paul, that is, even that was massive. And this, just the light's amazing. The board-to-board transition is incredible. And even here you thought, okay, he's already clicked into gear. He's got more. And just drove down the line. Just weaving, waiting his time. This one, just, yeah, that's his signature, isn't it, Paul? That sort of fin release. That's the only misstep, that little bit of a weird floater, but I'll give him that. And then just smooth, stylish drop wallet to finish off. So, yeah, what a masterclass.
All right, good stuff from Kanoa Igarashi. Every time you look at it, there's something new to sort of spot in his technique. So polished. Meanwhile, some little sets standing up on the reef here. A little bit of a softer one. No takers on that one. 13:20. That's the time remaining. That's the time Gassian De La Haye is thinking about plotting his way back into this heat. We're just going to watch a little effort here. And up and riding, it is Kanoa Igarashi, and he will ditch those fins. And then he'll go back the way he came as way of a kick out. So just a little speculation from him, showing us that variety, the above the lip flair. He's got everything in his armory. And a little inside under priority effort here, why not?
Yeah, we must have heard that progression chat. Yeah, he just picked up on inside, nothing out the back. Just, you never know. He's got the ability to just go absolutely massive on a poor wave, but go big with one single air, but didn't pay off in that circumstance.
Judges drop him a 1, 2, 3. We're going to be back with more live action. 12.5 to go in this one. Join us for it after the break.
So your requirement blue is now a 5-4-1. Blue second, chasing now a 5-4-1 to lead. Time call 12 minutes now. 12 minutes on the clock.
Welcome to the show.
All right, here we go.
Let's do it. For me, going to Chopu, I kind of say bring it on.
Billy is being treated in a hospital.
You look famous.
I look famous?
Yeah, you don't.
I'm ruining my vibe.
Oh, yeah. I'll show you guys some of the secrets.
Come check it out.
A beautiful Wednesday evening in Portugal for the MEO Cup of Surfing, and all smiles from a junior with a bright future in front of him. Coming up in the next heat, that's Afonso Antunes. Meanwhile, in the current heat, it's Gassian Delahaye slashing with a bit of anger out of the lip on a smaller, slightly softer wave. He's kind of cruising through this one as he'll bring it onto the inside and look to flare up. He'll get a little piece of the lip, not overly convincing. That's a nice turn to finish off with. So finishes strong. Never really got to tee off from what we saw prior to that, with a little bit of a soft kind of energy to that wave. Let's get another look at it here, Mundy.
Yeah, took it from the foam. Just, even from the start, he was looking behind, just waiting for something to happen. Really nice, smooth transitions, good style. He's got a really nice ooze in the eye wave, approaching the wave of Gatien. And just asking, but he never got to open up until the very, very end. And said to bide his time. Did that. That's a really nice finish, though. He's got a big aerial 2 game on him. He's got his backside rotations are some of the best in the business. Grew up on a left-hand reef bake with an air wind that blows into it, so his backhand rotors are off the scale. He's also got a big punt in his forehand as well, so that may come out, but he just went for the pretty steady approach there. Good surfing, but it was a wave that didn't really allow him to, his full potential.
Yeah, never really got to engage the rails, did he, on that one? A little bit flicky, even on the finish by his own standards, and certainly by the standards of Kanoa Igarashi, but nevertheless, it's going to be a decent score for him. Comes in as a high 6, 6.67 for Gassian.
It's a 6.67.
So a well-surfed wave in the end. Kind of saved a lot of points with that strong finish. He's put himself back in contention here. Got into the lead for the moment, although Kanoa Igarashi in the red, still sitting on 1.23. That kind of throwaway fin chuck. Before that, of course, he nailed an 8.5 for an excellent display of surfing. What a scene that is, Ben. No, you're not looking at a postcard from Portugal. This is Live World Surf League Countdown Series Euro Cup competition.
Look at it. I mean, that's just approaching almost into October in Portugal. The sun is shining, people on the beach, still in their shorts, maybe a little bit of a jumper.
Whilst
it's
observing
just magical
physical distancing.
Yeah, I mean, they'd just be down here anyway. Obviously, all the thousands of beaches in Portugal all facing the sun. So all up and down the coast, it's people social distancing, but just soaking up the rays. And it's a great part of the world. It's a great place to be a surfer. It's a great place to be human.
8 minutes and 10 to go in this one. as we see the silhouetted figure in the red singlet of Kanoa Igarashi. Second place in this one, but in a real strong position. Just needs a 2-5. Let's check out the story of how this one's unfolded. It's heat number 3 of our elimination round. And it was a patient start from Kanoa Igarashi before he unleashed the beast, went up into that excellent range. Let's check it out. This is Gassian De La Haye.
Yeah, Gatchin has surfed really well. He's only had 2 scoring waves, but yeah, not massive waves. But I'll tell you what, he's linked his turns. He's stayed super busy. He's been banging down the line, and yeah, I've been impressed with his approach. Just hasn't had the set waves. And then, well, Kanoa, I've seen this wave 6 or 7 times already, and I can't get enough of it. Contender for the EDP wave of the day for sure. He bided his time and just went to town on it, just like butter. So smooth, such good technique, and that's got him to 8.5, which, you know, with 7 minutes to go, he still needs to back it up. So he's not out of the woods, but it's a very, very commanding place to be in, and this just tags us at the end. So great surfing. That's the highlight of the heat so far. And then Gatting just came back at him. We were a little bit sort of not that enthused at the start, but then as the wave progressed, you see him S-turning, you see him building up speed, and then he just cements this end bit with an amazing closeout Rio. And that's where he got a bulk of his points, because he got the tail out, it was critical, it was on the inside, and it was big. So that got him back in the game. And Freddie Moraes, we know that the face of Portugal at the moment, the CT surfer, and he'll be up against the young kid, the 16-year-old from the local town. So that is a really exciting matchup. It writes its own narrative, doesn't it, Paul?
Poster boy for the event. I think it's fair to say he was a little bit miffed, or not a little bit, to not have got first place in his opening heat, and he's going to be fired up. He's had a couple of days to stew on that and turn that into positive energy and positive ripping in our final heat of a Wednesday. Let's check out our heat leader here. It's Igarashi. He's up and riding on a smaller wave. He's got some speed down the line. He's trucking. There's a little rip off the top from him. Only needs a 2-5 for first, but he won't be thinking about that requirement at all. Trying to throw as many points up as he can. A softer wave from him, though. Nothing like the energy of his big score, his opening ride. But he'll just stick with this all the way through to the inside here. Yeah, nice and sharp from him. And precision, I think he kind of made the best of what was a pretty unexceptional wave there. He's going to get the 2-5 for it, but he's not going to put a massive lead on De La Haye, and this could shape up to be interesting here, Ben. We have seen extended flat spells as well. Let's have another look at this one.
Yeah, he had decisions to make, obviously. 5 minutes to go. He hadn't been able to back up that really amazing 8.5. He could either just wait out the back and hope for a bigger set and absolutely slam the door shut, or he could pull the trigger and just hope to get a mid-range score and then, you know, still have time to go back out. He's done that. It's just wave. He had to work so hard for each of those turns, and there was no push behind the wave that we saw in that last one. So yeah, once that score comes in, 3.83, so now that leaves Gassian De La Haye in with a chance.
It's going to be really interesting now as we go 4.5 minutes on the clock. By far and away, the outstanding wave has been ridden by Kanoa Igarashi. Meanwhile, next heat, Afonso Antunes. He's 16 years old. He comes from Ericeira. He looks up to Frederico Moraes, actually leading the Portuguese national tour at the moment. He's been highly talented for a number of years. One of the hot juniors coming out of Europe at the moment. And could we see him cause something of a major upset out here, taking on Frederico Moraes of the Championship Tour? That's going to be coming up next, going to round out our elimination round. Ben, look at those skies.
Oh, I love the new WSL filters they've created. You know, those sort of fake, sort of beautiful light posters they put up to make the waves look better and make the surf look good. I really like them. You know, that's just, look at that. It's absolute natural light at its very best. We've still got an hour. We've got an hour left of surfing too. There's 2 more heats. I think the light, we're going to have just squeezed enough heats in, aren't we? 2 more. We're hoping the light will hopefully just get enough. At 7:30 we're due to clock off, so we're going to sneak in. Oh yeah, 1 more heat after this. Sorry, yeah, my apologies. So we're just going to just enough time as that sun globules into the Atlantic.
Let's think about this situation though, Ben. Kanoa Igarashi in the lead. It's not a massive lead, is it? 5, 6, 7. That requirement for Gassian De La Haye. If he gets an opportunity, he's going to have to try and pick, if a set is to come, try and pick the best wave. And then he's going to need to go basically a point under what he got on his last wave. It'll be really interesting to see what the ocean delivers us here. Of course, Kanoa Igarashi himself will definitely be looking to improve as well. He'll be lurking there. He knows what to do, play that role, and he don't have priority. It looks like him on the insides, having a bit of a concerted effort to a wave which won't really stand up on the reef. And eventually he'll claim that second priority in the lineup. The surfer in red, pretty hard to make out the colours at the moment in terms of the silhouette, but quite some distinctive body shapes. Yassine Delahaye with that kind of lanky frame.
Sets approaching Paul Evans. I think we're in for a bit of a, it could be a firecracker finish here. I can feel it. He's paddling out. He's seen it. He needs a 5.67, as you're saying.
He won't be rolling over, I tell you that much. He's a cool customer. He's got a lot of passion, but he will be dialed into exactly what he needs to do in this one. Set stacking up there and doesn't want to get drawn too much out of position. So let's just see how these opportunities unfold. Delahaye 5.67. His requirement, of course, assumes that Kanoa Igarashi doesn't improve as well. There are multiple waves on the set. Here comes one. Standing up, Delahaye's having a look at this. He looks kind of interested. He's going to pull the trigger here, a late drop, and he's up and riding. 5.67 the requirement. Slash to open up, gets the hair out of the eyes. Little steep section, and he'll belt that one. And again, another nice section, cooperating. A little snap high up in the lip, gets on his skates. A little flicky there. And he's going to have to come from a long way behind. It's really hard to do at Ribeira Dilas. And as we go under that 90-second mark, meanwhile, here's trouble in the form of Kanoa Igarashi taking on the lip. Massive foam climb. Covered acres of ground with that maneuver. Just seems to be able to get momentum out of nowhere. And he'll fling a little lipper to finish off as well. Good stuff from Igarashi.
Yeah, I think Yassine Delahaye would have struggled to get the score anyway, but then this came behind it. And the second wave of the set, Paul, as I said before, is always the best one. And Kanoa just fanging down the line, waits for this section. Big float here. And then you mentioned this next foam floater. I mean, this might not look that hard. That's a very, very technical turn. And it means that he's back in the game for more points. And he finishes it well. So, yeah, really strong surfing. Jackson's score would have had to improve on that 5.67. So, yeah, unfortunately for Delahaye, maybe just picked that wrong wave. I mean, it's impossible to tell, now we know in hindsight. And this section looked good. And even this one, he tagged it here like strong, and then he was just hoping for something, and then it just went away. And I wonder if he could have got around that if he just, well, he didn't. End of. Shut the gate. 6.67.
This is live action. We're looking at Delahaye just kind of S-ing speculatively on a cool inside wall. And he'll be a little bit rattled at the moment. Wait for the judges to make it official. But it looks like Igarashi with a score to come in. Think about his backup score of 3.83. There's a really strong chance that'll be toast and he will improve. Either which way, it looks like Kanoa Igarashi will be sailing on through to the quarterfinals. But let's just get all these scores in before we start getting carried away. But looking real good there, Kanoa Igarashi. And a real kind of statement performance on that opening ride. Just showed us exactly what he's got, that extra quality that we've come to expect for him, particularly in the last few years. Yassine Delahaye will make his way in and surfed pretty well out there. And you got to say, he came up against a surfer who essentially was in a little bit better form, was also on the better waves. Kanoa does improve, 5.5 for him. Brings his total to a highly respectable 14 points. Great shout for EDP wave of the day as well with that massive 8.5. And good stuff, really impressive, Igarashi. And he's good value for a spot in the quarterfinals. Avoided a bit of a banana skin there for Yassine Delahaye. And that sets us up for our last heat of the day. Heat 4 of the elimination round 2. We'll pitch Freddie Moraes, Afonso Atunas. Let's make it official. Igarashi, big total, 14 points. Gets past Delahaye, who surfed well, but came up against a bit of a whirlwind from Igarashi. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. We're going to finish off our elimination round. Frederico Moraes of the Championship Tour taking on the 16-year-old Afonso Antunes. Join us for it after this.
Official results now from the previous heat. First place was Red Kanoa Igarashi.
Boa tarde, good evening, and welcome back to Portugal. We're bringing it home with an absolute cracker of a heat. Frederico Moraes from Cascais down the coast there in Lisbon, taking on the local Afonso Antunes. Of course, his dad, the standout surfer from Portugal in the 90s, and he's cut his teeth surfing on this very break and many other decent ones in this region of Ericeira and all across Portugal. Already got some impressive competitive results behind him, and he is nipping at the heels of the established talents like Frederico Moraes, and this is a really exciting clash shaping up here. I wonder how Fred's going to deal with the young upstart Monday. How do you like this, the way this one's shaping up?
Oh yeah, it's what a way to win the day. We've seen all the CT guys who were knocked out surprisingly yesterday. They've come up today in the afternoon and have absolutely blitzed it. Really, seen Leonardo Fioravanti smash it, and this was the first wave of Antunes. So the young Grom just waiting for a section, waits for it, gets a nice little tag in, and so he'll be hoping that the way that it's all played out over the course of the last 3 heats doesn't play out for him. The CT stars have asserted their authority, and you'd expect Kikash Moraes to do the same. But Paul, and there's a big but, this is a young kid with a bright future, a kid that knows these waves very, very well, who's been schooled since he's been a Grom, with great coaching, his dad's support, DNA helps. So yeah, this is his time. This could be a huge sort of half hour in his career. So yeah, I'm back in Kikash, but it's going to be exciting.
All right, let's see it all unfold. Just a 3 in for Antunes for that opening wave, and that's a reflection of the wave not offering a massive amount of opportunity for him to unleash. So just kind of cruising through that one pretty much as we see pastel colours on our western horizon here. Yeah, Ribeira Dilias wrapping things up, choosing our 8th and final quarter finalist. One of these two, it's going to be Moraes and Antunes, an all-Portugal clash. Shaping up to be a good one. Patience won't be an issue, you would think, from either of these two, particularly Frederico Moraes, who knows a whole lot about man-on-man competition. And obviously his championship tour experience and success afforded him great deal of experience for this seat. In the meantime, let's go down and hear for the winner of the last heat. He was on an absolute tear, ripped his way through that one. It's Kanoa Igarashi. He's standing by with Diogo.
Yeah, first of all, congratulations, Kanoa. What an amazing effort, amazing hit. You already won a contest here back in the days in Santa Cruz. So is that Portugal a special place for you?
Yeah, I think we all know that I like to be in Portugal. The waves are really fun. As you can see, it's a terrible day today, in terms of waves. But it's you can surf and you can have fun. So it's definitely a special place. I feel comfortable out there, and it's just nice to be competing and doing what I love.
Okay, another question. We had been on hold for 3 or 4 hours. How do you maintain your focus during that time?
I just went home. I can pretty much see my house from here, so it's just another day at home. I have all my friends here with me, and we just spend the day like another day, just at home, watching movies and just waiting to see if the contest was gonna be on or not. But the thing is, for me, I would have surfed even if it was off. So it's just another afternoon surf, but it's nice to have a lot of people here and watching and enjoying surfing back on the big stage.
Swell is coming up for tomorrow, so you are in the quarters. What it's your expectations for tomorrow?
Yeah, I just hope there's more waves. It's hard to compete when there's not many waves. Like just then I didn't know if there was gonna be any more waves at the end of the heat, and I just wanted to make sure I got the score. And Gassian, you just never know. He's a really good surfer, and I think it's just one of those heats where you don't know if the west one's going to come from wide or they're going to be deep, and so you're kind of always stuck in the middle. You just have to pick a peak and then go for it. So I felt a little bit out of rhythm in that heat, but hopefully there's more waves tomorrow, and we can open up a bit more.
So good luck for tomorrow. Congrats again. Back to you, boys.
Thanks, Diogo. Great job. Igarashi live action here. The swooping figure 8 from Afonso Antunes. Not a load of pace to this wave, particularly for him, but look, he's looking for a little double up section, which doesn't prove to be forthcoming. 23.10 on the clock. That'll be a second score for him. Kikash Moraes, Frederico in the red's been super patient, and he's looking at inside here, Ben. He's a long way in here, but it looks like he was maybe thinking that little section down the line. Again, that won't happen for him. And he'll make his way back out at a kind of a measured pace.
I've got a question for you, Paul, if I may be so bold. Cano up there, you see just relaxing, his home's up on top of the hill, going back there watching movies with his friends. What sort of movies do you think he might have been sort of watching for the pre-surf Cyclops? Do you think he's on the Rocky 1s or Rocky 2s or more Sleepless in Seattle type sort of mellow vibes?
Loves a romantic comedy.
A rom-com.
When Harry Met Sally, big favourite for Kanoa.
He does like that, yeah. The Notebook? He often sort of often bars you up about The Notebook. Yeah, and interesting. We'll have to ask him later on.
As we see, Afonso Antunes there gets to 3-2 for his second wave. So his total 6.2. We talked about him, just 16 years of old, a rising star from Portugal. We're going to check out a little clip from him, find out a bit more about him.
It's an honor to be competing at the high level of WSL. There's so many good surfers, they're the best surfers in the world, and competing against them, it's a dream come true. It's going to be really difficult to beat anyone at the comp because they're the best in the world, and I still have to reach another level to be at the same level as they are right now. Just to have these two competitions in Europe after the COVID situation, it's the pandemic, it's really good, and it feels really nice to see and to be competing with the best guys in the world. Portugal is really consistent in terms of waves. There's all the types of waves. You have barrels for cars. You have it's a wave pool, like a country, like a wave pool. You can train everything. And there's a lot of good places in Portugal. We have Super Tubos, we have Santa Cruz, we have Ericeira, we have Espinho. We have a lot of places like top level.
All right, good stuff from Antunes. And just as we were checking out that package, saw live action for him as well. So a score to come in for him. Just feels maybe a little bit kind of cruisy in terms of his energy, never really flaring up on that one.
Yeah, that wave just sort of, he waited for it. It's quite flat. He knows his wave so well. Nice little top turn. That shows you what he's got. But he had to rush down the line, and usually hoping for these big sections here to open up. Finally gets a bit of space, but it was a bit crumbly. He's done well, though, too, to get through here. And then there's a couple of really nice sort of cutbacks. He drew across, got a little bit unhinged there. So 3 or 4 of the same type of turns, and still not looking for a bit of variety. Comes around the corner, a nice little tag. So he worked hard for it. It just didn't really open up. Didn't open up the shoulders. Didn't get the rails super engaged. And that's probably a little lack of experience and lack of power, I would say.
And Fred just giving him free run at the moment. That's 3 waves. The score is nudging up. That was a 3.73, that last one. Moraes just super patient, letting him have that. And when he sees the right opportunity, he will be pouncing. 1940 remaining in this one and remaining in our day of competition. Been a sort of a bookended day with our women's elimination round this morning. And we waited several hours for the tide and as well to fill in a bit more to run the men's. Wrapping up here, and we've decided which one of these two will make up the spot in that 4th quarter final. Fred Moraes having a little look around. Surfed an absolute ton of heats out of this wave of Ribeira de Lias, and at this section of the tide where it's kind of getting flatter in there now, you will see kind of rocks almost start to pop up with every set. So at this stage, it get down towards that mid-tide, it really starts to feel like the tide's racing out like never before. Let's hope that swell can continue to fill in. We're really confident about tomorrow, Monday.
Yeah, all the counts.
Well, our contest director is, and we just go, we hang on his every word.
Not only do we hang on his every word, we relied on his help to start our car this morning. So, I mean, he's nothing he can't do that, man. Yeah, he's calling tomorrow. They've predicted the increase in swell, and originally in the week they were worried about the winds, but even those winds are now backed off, and so they're really confident tomorrow's going to be a great day. But the swell's coming, but I tell you what, it hasn't come yet. And Frederico Moraes, he's a patient surfer. He's known for his mental toughness and his ability to back himself in any situation, but right now he's let 12 minutes go by and he hasn't got a wave, so it's a test of his mettle.
That's Miguel Fortes, our contest director, making decisions. A big thanks to him for all of his efforts.
Surfer too.
Great surfer, dominates these reefs, but also should take this opportunity to really thank our partners, MEO, official partner of the World Surf League, Red Bull, official energy drink of the World Surf League, Jeep, official partner of the World Surf League, Tourism of Portugal, another official partner, and of course EDP, who will be awarding an EDP Wave of the Day each and every day. So that coming up to look forward to in the post-show as well. Big thanks to our sponsors, as well as everyone, our athletes, and everybody else behind the scenes to help make this event happen. MEO Portugal Cup of Surfing looks very likely to be wrapping up tomorrow in the best conditions of the week. Jumping swell. We've got a ton of wind coming on Friday, so we're going to try and get things done tomorrow. Just going quarterfinals for both men and women. Let's see what the Atlantic throws at us tomorrow. It's not been a classic in terms of events in Portugal this tournament, but nevertheless, Ribeira Duras, she won't let you down, Monday.
Ah, she's always delivers. Just, yeah, the point. So many moods as well. You know, we've seen waves all this week of such different hues. Last year, Richard Marsh is looking a little bit happier at the moment. He obviously coached Leo Fioraventu's win, and now he's helping out Federico Moraes. But he's happy. He's happy now. But I tell you what, Fred hasn't got a wave. So I don't know if that was in the play-by-play manual that they talked about before the heat. But here we go. Here's some action out there, and Fred looks due or ready to strike, I would say.
16.5 on the clock, and a set stacking up. And on this mid-tide, just kind of wrapping down from the top of the point. Here, as you mentioned, hard to know whether to go up the point or sit wide for the west ones. It's been the former for Federico Moraes. And he'll swoop down into a slightly soft opening section. And not a great choice at this stage, you would think. Let's see if it stands up on the inside, but so far out the back, hasn't looked particularly like waiting all that time for. Here he goes, though. He's got a nice little runner section in front of him. He'll take on the lip. The little snap up in there, and he'll belt that again and just drift it down. So finishes strong. Not a great beginning, but possibly hoping for a bit more. And I just wonder what Doug Marsh will be thinking about that choice of wave and that decision to sit all that time without surfing. Meanwhile, right behind, Antunes, your heat leader. And he's swinging on a bit of a foamy one. I want to make this count here, because if he surfs past Federico, he will be getting back to priority as well in the lineup. Here he goes with a ton of speed, kind of banking over a whitewater section. Pretty cool customer. And I wonder there if he flicks off the foot. Yeah, it looks like he's having a look to see where Federico is. A ploy to get prio. Let's get another look at this one.
Yeah, it never really opened up. His last three waves have been 3-point rides. And you can't see that wave going anywhere above that. So not quite working out for the young Grom at the moment. He's had opportunities. Federico, on the other hand, yeah, he waited a long time. I mean, I think his coach would have been pretty worried. Not even at this stage, he was hoping, that's a nice swooping cutback. But just after this, it looked like this wave had gone completely flat. And Fred had waited. I mean, if he hadn't waited 15 minutes, it wouldn't have been such a big deal, but he had. And at this stage, you're thinking, uh-oh. But I tell you what, he works hard, and at the end, it gave him 2 meaty sections. This is Fred's bread and butter. Just gets into a bit of a rhythm here. It's a big closeout section. No one can hit a closeout section like Fred in world surfing. That's one of his real strengths. I've seen him hit 8 foot sort of massive lips, and he tagged it. It wasn't an amazingly ridden wave, but it's a start at least.
Coach Marsh making notes to judges. I'll have their thinking caps on to assign a score to that. They've already done that for Antunes. Another 3 for him. It's a 3-0-3. It won't go in his top 2. And we wait for Federico's number to come in. So the combination on the end certainly the best in terms of manoeuvres on that one. It comes in as a 5-1-7. It's a 5-1-7 for Federico Moraes. He's got himself the high score of the heat so far. It's not been a classic at this stage. 13:45 remaining in it. Our final heat of the day. Afonso Antunes, Federico Moraes come back for more live action right after this quick commercial break.
Prioridade azul, segunda prioridade vermelha. It's a blue prior, second red. Time call 13 minutes, 10 seconds. Still in the lead blue, Afonso Antunes, sitting on a pair of threes, a 3-7-3 and a 3.2. So red, only one wave on red, a 5-1-7. So red is second, but chasing the 1-7-6.
The Euro Cup introduces the MEO Portugal Cup of Surfing, presented by MEO, the official partner of the World Surf League. Tourism of Portugal, the official strategic partner of the World Surf League. Jeep, official vehicle of the World Surf League. And ADP, official partner of the World Surf League.
Final heat of the day, out of the water at Ribeira de Ilhas. The MEO Portugal Cup of Surfing quarter-finalists will all be decided in precisely 12 minutes time from now. At the moment, young Afonso Antunes is 16 years old with a narrow margin over the veteran championship tour surfer, the poster boy for the event, Frederico Kikash Moraes. Just one scoring for Frederico. He's in second at the moment, just needs a 1.76 for first. Priority is with Afonso Antunes. It's not been a classic in the opening part of this one. Let's hope we can turn that story around, bring you a lot more action and drama to wrap things up. But it's been a slow one in terms of that tide getting down. So it's kind of strongest as it goes on the ebb and going against our incoming swell filling in. So just kind of draining a little bit on that energy. Light fading as well. At the moment, Afonso Antunes, the young lad there, looking to go up the scale, really. He's had some opportunities, Ben. Don't want to be harsh on him. He's only 16 years old, but he's an accomplished performer. Just thinking so far already, he probably could have put a little bit more on the board than he has with the waves he's had.
Yeah, he's definitely had opportunities. I don't think it's been too harsh. He's been surfing in the open ranks on the Portugal National Series and beating some of these guys, beating the likes of Vasco and Fred. So, you know, that's the level that he's at, or he wants to be at. And he knows this wave well, and he's really talented. And he just hasn't been able to get out of any type of second gear, whether that's the waves or nerves. It's hard to tell. And I would just say, luckily for him, Fred hasn't been able to capitalise. Fred's only had one wave in 20 minutes, and it's only a 5.17. So, you know, it's still wide open, I think, and Afonso just has to maybe restart. It's a 10-minute heat from now on end, and the winners will be surfing tomorrow in the MEO Portugal Cup of Surfing in the quarterfinals. So there's a lot on the line, and there's 10 minutes with which to stake their claims.
Just over 10 on the clock now. Frederico Moraes still looking for a proper second score. Does have a throwaway of a 0.5, but looking for a legit number. Been super patient in this one so far. Does have all that experience to draw on. Let's have a look here. And here he goes. Just slicing on a nice looking section there. Fangs one off the top. Gets the recovery done. Sort of an awkward section. Ribeira de Ilhas can sort of bottom out from underneath you. And he'll just kind of keep his board sort of prodding up in the lip rather than anything else. As he'll just stick to a little inside wall. Standing up, he likes the look of it. Hits the gas, a little section, slightly obtusely drops in front of him. And he'll slash around with a little wrapping turn. So not really unleashing. Well, he's lost the 0.5. It will be a backup score. He's going to go to the lead. Only 1.76 required. But he's going to set up Antunes with a requirement. Not a massive one. Still plenty of time left to go there, Ben. 9 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, you'll see, you talk about it dropping out, just after this sort of roundhouse cut back, you'll see a little boil just poke up there, and that what causes, which is a little upsurge of rock or reef, that causes the water to swell up, and that's what sort of made him drop out of the sky a little bit. And even that turn where he did drop out of the sky was probably the only sort of turn of any real sort of jeopardy or radicalness, and that's sort of holding him back. He kept fighting, he never stopped looking for a section to showcase what he's got, but that was another little trademark swoop, but that was it. So no questioning his ongoing commitment and his battle, but it didn't really open up for him.
Live action from Antunes. A little bit more velocity, a little bit more pep in his step, taking on the lip. He doesn't want to get caught behind it. Does really well to spring around. A little bit tentative on that little redirect. And he will need to flare up a little bit here. Does feel like just a little bit of cruisy energy so far through what we've seen. This is better from him though. And a little bit of aggression into that turn. That'll be the last manoeuvre from him. Let's get another look at this last wave from the 16-year-old.
Yeah, it's hard not to be too critical. That was a big turn, but there's just a couple of spots. You know, he's surfing against Frederico Moraes, the CT surfer. Just wonder if there's a few times where he could maybe risk it. You know, put a bit of risk into his surfing, whether it's a get the tail out there or trying something. He's a really progressive young surfer. Obviously, they just grow up doing aerials. He's got a big aerial game, and it's easy to say, I might add. These waves don't particularly sort of help in those situations. But anyway, he's still in the game, and Fred's back up riding.
Moraes rips one off the top, keeps all his speed. There's a big hack from him. And a much bigger wave face, allowing him to kind of swing that big body around with a lot more impetus. It's on his fourth turn already. Nice one up in the lip there. And you see the speed he can just generate into these turns, giving him a load of spray. And that's good stuff. And that's not the first time we've really seen sort of Federico as we expect to see him in this heat.
Yeah, that's the first time we've seen the Fred that we know and love. Speed from the start. He needs a bit of power. That's, you know, his trademark. When he gets in powerful solid waves, his surfing just goes up and up a level. Not his ideal conditions, but this is a wave that allowed him to showcase that type of tag. We've seen all those. It's a kick out, isn't it? It's a classic kick-ash, kick-house. He lets the fins go, drops his left hand down, and just kicks out. And Dog Marsh is pretty happy about that. Richard Marsh. So the coach really happy about things, and he's down there with Diogo. So take it away.
Yeah, I'm here with the man himself, Federico's coach, Richard Dog Marsh. Richard, how stressful it is to be on the last heat of the day, especially against this young kid?
Yeah, young Alfonso is a really talented young surfer, and the conditions have just got a little bit low tide, so it's quite tricky as well. So it is a little bit stressful. There was a really long lull at the start, or a set came at the start, and then there's been 2 lulls back to back, so hasn't been too many waves ridden, so yeah, I was a little stressed.
The guys are missing you at the booth. You have a message for the boys?
Yeah, sucked in. Hey, all day with Ben Mundy and Paul Evans. I can miss that.
It's gonna be on this event that we are gonna see your little book, your little black book.
Oh, look, it's not that interesting. The surfing's much more interesting. Look, but I'm stoked we got to run another round today. I think that sort of gets us ready for tomorrow and some better conditions then. So look, it was a hard day, but it was good to do it.
Thank you so much, Richard. Good luck for the next hit.
All right, good stuff, Dog. Well, he'll be a little bit happier by virtue of the fact that his charge, Federico Moraes, has just dropped a 6.5, and it was much better stuff from Fred. Requirement now for Afonso Antun, 7.94. He needs to go close to the excellent range, under the 5-minute warning. Thinking of Dog's assessment, there has been a little bit wave start.
Of us or of the conditions?
Of the conditions, I was thinking. And a little bit of energy kind of drained out of this increasing swell. Sounds like a bit of a contradiction, but it's been reflected in scores up until that 6.5. First real flash of genuine quality in this one.
Yeah, definitely, and that's why he's a lot happier. He surfed really well, and you're right over the. You know, we came back on at 5:30 local time, and that was just enough time for the high tide to have sort of drained out and for the waves started breaking. And then 2 hours later, it's already starting to get a little bit low and changing quite quickly. So, yeah, it was a good call though. And, you know, Afonso started off, well, this wave looked so nice at the start. He found a bit of rhythm, but could never really open up or show a bit of progression. He lost his footing a bit there. Surfing really well, and let's not forget, he's 16. It's always got to be the caveat on this. He's got an amazing future, and he wouldn't be in the event if the Portuguese surfing experts didn't recognise just what a talent he is. But he's up against this man, and you know he's a CT surfer. He's made finals of CTs. He's won back-to-back events in Hawaii. He's a consummate professional, and it's a big ask. And eventually, you know, the class has shone through with Fred just getting the 2 best waves, probably of the heat, and just surfing, strong. He's got a little bit left in the tank. He hasn't surfed to his potential either, but his surfing on this wave especially was what makes him so dangerous. And especially when tomorrow, if he can hang on for the last 3 minutes, if the swell increases and his confidence increases with it, he's going to be one of the definite men to beat, I would say.
Federico Moraes, super patient at the start of this heat, conserving that energy for the right opportunities. That's what he found there, that last wave. You just saw in the recap, 6.5, and it's better stuff from Marsh. And a bit of relief on the dial there from Richard. as he sees Federico go into the ascendancy in the lead in this one quite convincingly at the moment. Don't count out Antunes yet though, but his requirements, it's pretty hefty. 7.94, close to that excellent range. We know he's got that full repertoire of manoeuvres. What he does need to find is a wave. 2:20 on the clock. Looks quite quiet out the back there. Last knockings in terms of daylights on the continent of Europe. Of course, we are as far west as you can go in Europe's mainland, so it's the last place we see the sunset on the old continent of Europe. And we're hoping for just a couple more sets before the end of this one. 2 to go. Afonso Antunes won't mind if he does get knocked out at this stage. All part of the learning process. Young in his career, good opportunity for him. But if he gets himself a wave bent, if he can find a section, if he can flare up, looks like we've got a little bit of texture filling in on the outside of the reef. Let's see if we get some sets coming through. A nice little exchange to finish off a good day of competition, but also a day where we've had to box a little bit clever in terms of conditions and tides and quite a lot of time on hold.
Yeah, it's been stop-start. There's no doubt about it. As is, always often the case surfing in Portugal and in France for that matter. But we've got some time. We've got a swell coming, and the guys have really sort of made the most of the small swell that we had and the limited. So even the winds are a bit funny. So they've done really well, and we've still got waves. A minute to go. It could end with a fight. A bang, an absolute. It would be some type of statement if Antunes could get an 8-point ride to finish it off. He hasn't really showed that he's got that in him at yet. But surfing's a funny game. He's got priority, and here's a set, and we'll see what he can get. I know it's hard to tell who paddled for that one, but I think with 43 seconds on the clock, that might have been the last set ridden in anger or joy today. And with 35 seconds on the clock, it looks like all the CT surfers that we have seen today have all progressed, which not so good for some of the up-and-comers, but it does make for a much more compelling finals day tomorrow.
Counting down on the last 20 seconds of our final heat of the elimination round, the MEO Portugal Cup of Surf. And as you mentioned, Monday, CT talent shining through in this elimination round. Of course, we do have our Jeep leader, Italo Ferreira, reigning world champ. He'll be back tomorrow. Got himself straight through to the quarters from round one. We're also going to see the likes of other standouts like Ramzi Boukiam. And this will see this one out in the dying of the light. It is Federico Moraes. A super patient start from him. His quality ultimately shone through late in the evening here at Ribeira de Ilhas. And he'll just bring this one all the way in. And that'll be it for the day. That'll wrap things up. All our quarterfinalists are decided. Of course, don't go away just yet. We do have the post-show to bring you as well. We're going to go through our top 5 moments of the day. We've got the EDP wave of the day as well. So a bunch to unpick from an interesting day of competition. Fred Moraes, officially, there it is, of those two Portuguese surfers. It is the senior of the two, looking good value for a spot in that last quarterfinal. And that's wrapped it up for our day of competition. Elimination rounds are out of the way. We're going to be back with quarterfinals tomorrow, but we're going to be back with the post-show after this quick commercial break. Paul Evans and Ben Mundy in the studio, breaking it all down for you. Join us for it right after this commercial.
Foi prazer estar na vossa companhia. Bom regresso a casa. Estamos de volta amanhã. Grande abraço. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for being here with us. So tomorrow we have the football here at 7:50. Could be the last day of this MEO Portugal Cup of Surfing exhibition event. It was a pleasure to have you here at the beach. We'll come back tomorrow at 7:15 for a possible last day of this MEO Portugal Cup of Surfing. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow then. Thank you.
And a very warm welcome back to Portugal for the post-show. It's been a long day of competition with a bit of a gap in the middle as we went on hold for the tide. Had the women's elimination round this morning, men's elimination round this evening. Everything's settled. Sun's just dipped below the ocean. Myself, Paul Evans and Ben Mundy. We're going to unpick it all for you with the top 5 moments of the day. But before we get to that, we're going to hear from the man of the moment, Frederico Moraes. He's just got through a tricky heat with Afonso Antunes. He's standing by with Diogo.
Yeah, thanks, boys. Hey, Frederico, congratulations, first of all. Tricky heat in the beginning, 15 minutes without a wave. How stressful that was?
To be honest, I was a little stressed, especially after seeing Cano get an 8 point and Leo and Neco, Pires just getting a bunch of fun waves. Vasco as well. I was just waiting for a set. I was just like, no, I can't believe it's going to stop now. It's going to stop breaking. But then there was a few little waves. I got to put up a few scores together. And yeah, I knew it was going to be a tough one. Ildefonso, super good surfer. One of the best upcoming talents we've got in our country. So yeah, it was pretty fun to surf a hit with him. I'm not sure, but I think it was our first man-on-man. So yeah, it was a fun hit.
Yeah, another thing, you won last year in Santa Cruz, in Azores. So how important is going to be these WSL countdowns for the beginning of the next season starting at December in Pipeline?
It's pretty important. It's just good to surf, get this competitiveness out of us again. You know, just the exciting bit of coming to an event. Surfing for a reason. Obviously we have heaps of fun surfing and free surfing, but at least for me, talking about myself, there's always something missing when there's no comps. So yeah, to be honest, it was really fun. 2 months without anything and just chilling at home, but yeah, by now I'm just ripping. So yeah, just get this year started. I think everyone's really anxious, everyone wants to surf and to perform, so yeah, it's pretty cool that the WSL is putting these events on for us.
Congrats again, Kikish. Looking forward to see you in the next round. Bye-bye.
Parabéns, Frederico. Obrigado, Diogo. Good debrief there from Frederico Moraes. Bit of relief in his face as well. I think it's fair to say he wasn't, I'm not going to say he's rattled, but certainly he had a bit of do in that one.
Yeah, he was just worried about no waves coming through, and he had a long 15-minute wait for it. And yeah, so you see how much it means a lot. He's been waiting for this competition for so long, and to potentially go out without catching a wave was going to be problematic. But he got through, and it's good for the event that he's still in the quarterfinals.
One of our storylines coming in to today was the relative upsets in terms of the CT surfers not getting out of our round 1 heats. Well, the story from today, completing that quarterfinal bracket, is the CT surfers have more than made amends. Let's have a look at those quarterfinal brackets there and see how they stack up. That first heat, Ribeiro, Bukiam. It's going to be a clash of power, that one.
Yeah, 2 amazing European surfers. Ramsey Bukiam from Morocco, but living up there in France. He's been absolutely ripping. Got the EDP wave of the day in his first heat, and we saw Ribeiro today just absolutely on form, surfing so well.
I love the look of this next one. Leonardo Fioravanti, we just saw him get through in the heat previous to this one's taken on the Jeep leader in Italo Ferreira, the world champ. That's going to be a classic.
Massive heat. Italo Ferreira, we know what he's been doing. We know how good he's been surfing. We know the form is in. And Leo, he's one of those few surfers that will absolutely thrive on that. He won't be going to bed thinking, oh, I've got the world champ. He'll go, I've got the opportunity to beat the world champ. That doesn't happen very often, and he'll be absolutely fired up. So if he brings his A game, he can beat him. Isla will have to be on form. I can't wait for that one.
Quarterfinal number 3 sees Maxime Houssaneau of France take on Kanoe Igarashi. Another exciting matchup. Kanoe Igarashi was absolutely ripping out here today, but I tell you what, Maxime's been on form, and when he looks at Igarashi, I think he'll be thinking, that's where I want to be. He'd like to be in that kind of position. He's a versatile surfer. There's a lot of similarities between them. That looks like a good matchup.
Yeah, I'm so impressed with Max surfing, and no one's been free surfing this break more than him over the last week. And he's just been lighting the place up. He's got his wave suits. His surfing suits his wave. Big ass, but he's got the capabilities of it. And the last one, of course,
bit of spice in that one. Aritz Aramburu beats Federica Moraes on a twin fin here yesterday, and Fred wasn't particularly happy about it. And guess what? They're matching up in the fourth quarter final.
Yeah, that's huge. A rematch there on the twin fin. Whether Ritz will ride it tomorrow in those ways, we'll find out. But I know his coach doesn't like twin fins, and I know his charge, Fred, doesn't like getting beaten by guys on twin fins. So, yeah, we'll see if that comes up. That's going to be another sort of power match. They're great surfers. That is a packed bracket.
And thinking over to the women's side, we're casting our mind back to this morning. We got through the elimination round, settled our quarter finalists, but some big performances there for the women today, and I think commitment would be the word that we saw. Some really impressive performances early on, particularly dealing with some of the rocks out here at Ribeira.
Yeah, and that exactly. Carolina Mendez, she was probably the day's standout performer for the women, and she comes up against Joanne Defay in the quarterfinal number 2. Joanne Defay, obviously the Jeep leader, jersey wearer, and she has been on fire throughout this whole competitive leg in the Euro Cup of Surfing. It's a big ask, but I think Carolina Mendez is probably the most equipped to give her a fight, so that's going to be huge.
And Nat Lelior was really impressive yesterday as well. Her sort of powerful style really suits this wave. You think about some of the backhand, sometimes it can be a disadvantage, but it feels like for Nat Lelior out of Israel, she actually used it to her advantage down here.
Yeah, her strengths are her power and her technique, and as soon as that swell picks up, and I think against Camila Cardoso, Camila wasn't that impressive. She got a bit lucky this morning against Rachel Presti. I'd back a Nat all the way against the local one.
Okay, quarterfinal 3, Addo and Hopkins, youth versus experience. Pauline Addo was in the booth earlier. She'll be raring to go tomorrow, and let's round it up with 2 Europeans, Bonvalo and Aristabe. Bonvalo smooth and Aristabe the goofy out of the Basque Country.
Yeah, love a goofy battle. Teresa surfed her heat as best I've seen her in a long time, actually. She's one of the smoothest stylist operators on in the women's draw. Aristabe is a bit more radical, a bit more unpredictable. So yeah, it's going to be awesome. I can't wait.
And we've been talking about our forecast throughout the week, and swell's supposed to pick up tomorrow, so we're all set to finish with a bang here. But just looking back on today and starting to think about those top 5 moments of the day, there's been a lot to pick through, but we have sifted through and picked out our top 5 moments. We're going to bring you all of those. We'll cast our mind all the way back to this morning, and some serious commitment on display from the women, riding those waves all the way through the rocks. Really impressive to see, Ben.
Yeah, Carolina Mendez was one of the standout performers in those first 4 elimination rounds of the women. So, yeah, I'd love to see that again. I mean, there's going to be some... There she is there. She's a little pocket rocket. She's an absolutely amazing surfer. And this is one of the earliest waves of the day. She came out strong, hitting the lip. She knows this wave very well from Qashqai. Comes around. This is where I was like, get out, Carolina, get out. No way. She just slammed it shut and then ended up sort of rock hopping and sort of just keeping her head above there. She's still smiling, I might add. That was one of my favourites.
7-3-3 for that one, and this was an absolute ding-dong battle. Nadia Aristabe taking on Mafalda Lopez, and a good clash this one, Monday.
Yeah, backhand styles, both real powerful surfers. Always sort of go hard on the end section as they did here, and this one got Aristabe through against the local lass, Lopez. So a look at the future, really.
Okay, our third of our 5 moments of the day. Big numbers and a great clash. Vasco Ribeiro on the forehand with the power, taking on Jadson Andre. But I tell you what, Vasco looked fired up today, Ben.
Yeah, every wave that Jadson surfed, and he surfed them incredibly well. Vasco just came back with just that little 10% better. That's how close it was. Probably the highest combined heat total of the day or of the event. But it was this man who just knows his wave. He played to his strengths, and he's fired up. But I'll tell you what, Jaddy, we've lost Jaddy from the event. It's a real shame. He's been so positive. He's been ripping. He was just really unlucky. He got probably one of the highest, or the best performers of the day. So, yeah, we'll see Jaddy soon back in Europe. He'll be back in his mate Italo tomorrow. And it's just great to see Jaddy's smiling face and his incredible surfing back in a singlet.
Epic having him around the event. But ultimately, Vasco Ribeiro was a little bit too much for him. And just thinking forward to tomorrow, with a little bit more size and power out here, he could be absolutely lethal. Look, really good value today. He'll have his tail up, full of confidence. And an early night for him. I look forward to seeing what he does tomorrow. And just thinking about this battle, it just kept going, and we were at that stage of the tide where there's so much on offer down on this inside.
I love those last 2 turns of Jaddy, just coming out of the top turns with more speed than he goes in.
And our final moments from Big Day competition is, of course, that man Kanoa Igarashi. He was pretty relaxed before proceedings. He was pretty composed at the start of his heat, and he found this one. It's silky smooth, it's razor sharp. Best surfing we saw today.
Yeah, and we were saying just before, we haven't really seen him surf to his potential over these 2 legs of the Euro Cup of Surfing, and then this wave just turned up. And I'll tell you what, within a single wave, he's kind of turned the form book upside down. We know how good he is. We've seen it time and time again in so many different waves and conditions, but to see it live in Portugal, it just put him straight back in, like him and Italo, obviously, I think the favourites, and this wave was easily, just the class act of what was a pretty classy day of surfing.
Yeah, absolutely. Beautifully surfed from Kanoa Igarashi. Of course, home from home over here, mentioned in the time off. He was just over in his house just across the street. Can almost see it from the spot here. So cool for him to be feeling at home in his home from home and looking absolutely razor sharp. He served a bit of notice tomorrow, and these quarterfinals are matching up to be scintillating. And our final moment of the day, a super close heat. Federico Moraes was very quiet. Doug Marsh was worried. This young lad, Afonso Antunes, surfed a bunch of waves at the beginning of the heat, but ultimately Federico had a bit too much for him.
Yeah, a real change in the guard, potentially, down the track here. There's their first 2 man-on-man that these 2 had surfed. Afonso, 16, surfed really well, just couldn't quite open up, and then once Fred got the waves that allowed him to showcase his power and his timing, he started to get really, really on a roll. And there's his coach, Marsh. He was fist pumping, and yeah, I'm fist pumping too. I think it was just an amazing day of surfing.
Yeah, it's been a great day of competition. Just one more order of business. It's going to be our EDP wave of the day, and we've had quite a bit to choose from, but pretty much there was only one real standout. We just saw it. Let's have another look at it. Kanoa Igarashi.
I'm not going to lie, this is the 12th time I've seen this wave in the last sort of 20 minutes, and I like it. It gets better every time. He's just, that first turn is so crisp. Comes around, and the sun shining on the foam, the spray cascading over the Atlantic. I'm like, okay, I'm getting a bit excited, Paul, but I'll tell you what, this is high quality surfing. This is one of the world's best surfers, surfing in ways he knows really well. This is what I've been missing for the last 6 months, and that's just the EDP wave of the day. And what an absolute cracker. An 8.5, it could have been higher if you ask me, and he finishes it off with that, and that is why we like professional surfing, and that's why we love Kanoa Igarashi, and that's why I'm a very happy man.
All right, incredible stuff from Kanoa Igarashi. A statement performance for him. Can't wait to see him tomorrow. We've got a 7:15 call in the morning for a potential 7:30 start. The best day of our waiting period in terms of the jump in swell before the wind gets here as well. So looking like a big finals day tomorrow, Ben. It's time for us to sign off. We're going to show you some highlights for a great day competition, and we'll see you back here at worldsurfleague.com tomorrow morning, 7:15 local time for the call.